participate, to be part of the throng, the singing, the shouting, the swearing, the camaraderie, the noise, the sunshine. It was neither chic nor déclassé to care about baseball. It was simply part of being an American, for no one else had a game anything like it, any more than they had a country as raw and promising and strong as America.
The Coliseum in Oakland was the site last night for Game 1 of the 1989 World Series. A's manager Tony La Russa sent Dave Stewart to the mound, and Giants manager Roger Craig countered with Scott Garrelts. A key play in the second inning when Walt Weiss hit a ground ball to Will Clark. His throw to Terry Kennedy was in time to nail Terry Steinbach, but Kennedy dropped the ball, and before the inning was over, it was 3-0 Oakland. The big story last night, Dave Stewart, who was magnificent, going all the way to shut out San Francisco. He got further support from Dave Parker and from Walt Weiss. Parker, who hit 22 home runs during the regular season, hit a home run in the third, and Weiss, who hit only 3 during the regular year, hit 1 in the fourth. And when Stewart got Candy Maldonado to ground out to end the game, Oakland had drawn first blood in the World Series. Tonight, Game 2. And there is a look at the Bay Bridge linking San Francisco and Oakland. Very much the symbol of this series, dubbed as the Battle of the Bay. And October is normally a great month in this area, and it's a spectacular late Sunday afternoon as you look at the Oakland-Alameda County Coliseum filling up for the second game of the 1989 World Series as the San Francisco Giants take on the Oakland Athletics. Last night in Game 1, the A's winning it by a score of 5-0. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to the second game. And so the Oakland A's are now 3 wins away from their first World Championship since 1974. And for the Giants, the mathematics are also very simple. If they lose tonight, they would be faced with the prospect of having to win 4 of 5 to capture their first World Championship since 1954 and their first ever since moving west in 1958. And that would be a very difficult task against a very deep and very talented Oakland pitching staff. Tonight, Mike Moore, who won 19 games during the regular season, goes to the mound for the A's, and Rick Reuschel will be on the mound for San Francisco. But Tim McCarver, even in a game that winds up 5-0, there's normally a key play, a pivotal play early on, and there was last night in the second inning, that play at the plate.
Well, I think that's often overlooked in a blowout like last night. Some shoddy play early. For instance, last night in the second inning, the A's with 1 run in, first and third, 1 out, and a tapper by Walt Weiss to first baseman Will Clark. The throw by Clark after a double clutch to Kennedy is in time, and the reason that Kennedy has the ball slapped out by Steinbach is that he caught the ball with the weight on his right foot, and he didn't shift the weight to the weight on his left foot. And as you can see, Steinbach scores the second run of the game. So Kennedy couldn't stop Steinbach, and the Giants couldn't stop the Athletics last night.
And a couple of home runs by Parker and Weiss, and of course the shutout by Stewart. The final score was 5-0. So that means the Giants try to get even tonight, and they put the ball in the hands of 40-year-old Big Daddy, as they call him, Rick Reuschel, going to the mound for San Francisco. And you've watched him for years, Jim.
Yes, I have, and he is 40 years old. And I think Roger Craig, the manager of the Giants, would like to have Big Daddy do what Terry Kennedy couldn't do last night, and that's stop the A's cold. Well, he's a perfect pitcher to do it. He had a rotator cuff surgery back in 1982, but he was 17-8. Their leading winner this year, had a marvelous first half, 12-2. He struggled because of a groin injury, Al. But I'll tell you what, if there's one pitcher you want to have on the mound, it's that type of guy, because he changes speeds real well. He can move the ball around. Terry Kennedy says he throws the ball 20 different speeds, so it should be a big challenge for not only Rick Reuschel but also the Oakland A's.
And he pitched brilliantly on Monday when the Giants won the pennant, beating the Chicago Cubs. Well, we mentioned last night the history of this Oakland franchise, a franchise that came very close to leaving. It goes all the way back, of course, to 1901 when this team was in Philadelphia all those years. Connie Mack was the manager. He was also the owner. You took a look at Mack, who used to manage in a business suit, but then the team moved west, not quite to Oakland, about halfway to Kansas City in 1955. They were the westernmost team in baseball during those years. They played at Old Municipal Stadium, but then Charlie Finley bought the team, and he moved them along with the Mule to Oakland in 1968, and subsequent to that, 3 consecutive world championships. The teams of Jackson and Blue and Hunter and the rest. We'll talk to Charlie Finley when we come back.
Tribute to the spirit of competition from MCI. Proof that commitment to excellence brings out the best.
I like you loud and clear. I like you close and near. I like my MCI. I get more. More. I like my MCI.
I have the perfect remedy for your heartburn with headache.
Oh, I can't take Alka-Seltzer.
This one's different. New advanced formula Alka-Seltzer.
Boy, that tastes great.
See?
But it's not Alka-Seltzer.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Of course it is. Yes, it is. Yes, of course it is.
New advanced formula. Believe it or not, it's Alka-Seltzer.
No, it isn't.
The anti-lock brakes on the 1990 Acura Integra were inspired by those used to stop jet aircraft. And while you might expect to find such technology on a multi-million-dollar airplane, you might not expect to find it on an automobile that costs considerably less.
3:21 in the morning.
But it's kind of like having 8 million really friendly neighbors.
Yes, that's very early.
You're waking up America.
The third answer is yes, she's just as nice in person as she appears to be on television.
The nice part about our show is that you're just yourself.
The Los Angeles Rams, the NFL's only unbeaten team, take their perfect record into Buffalo to meet the Bills on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Game 2 of the 1989 World Series. Brought to you by Acura Legend and Integra. Precision-crafted performance exclusively at your Acura dealer. By Michelin. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by Merrill Lynch, a financial firm built on a tradition of trust.
The Walter Haas family of San Francisco bought the Oakland A's in 1980 from Charlie Finley, unquestionably the most colorful and controversial owner of his time, a man who watched his team win 3 world championships. Finley forced to sell in 1980, now lives in Chicago. Spoke with him early and asked him what it's like to watch the A's on the verge of another world title.
Well, Al, very good question. I feel very good about it. As a matter of fact, even though I'm not there tonight, I feel very close to what's going on because, Tony La Russa, the manager, I signed him out of high school. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, signed him out of high school. Your third base coach, Oakland's third base coach, Renee Latchman, I signed him out of high school. And the great star of the A's right now, or one of the great stars, Ricky Henderson, I signed him out of high school. And I really think that the A's this year will go all the way.
Charlie, as you look back now, how do you explain the fact that the Oakland team, when you were here, wins 3 consecutive world championships and yet has trouble drawing 1 million people?
Well, one year, Al, we did draw 1 million, but we were new to the Bay Area, we must remember that the San Francisco Giants were out there 9 or 10 years before we got there, and the Bay Area was more or less a San Francisco baseball area. Neither the Giants or the A's drew 1 million people there for a while.
Would you ever get back into baseball?
Would I like to get back into baseball?
Yeah, do you plan
to? No, Al, I have no plans at all returning to baseball. As I said, I was in it for 20 years, enjoyed it very much, and I like to sit back now and root for the A's tonight.
Finley was not only the owner, he was really the general manager as well, and that role is now filled and has been since after the 1983 season by a man by the name of Sandy Alderson, given a great deal of credit for this franchise's success, and Sandy's with Gary Thorne.
Thank you, Al. Sandy, of all the transactions that have taken place in structuring of the current club, what do you consider the 1 or 2 most important changes?
Well, I think that if you had to point to one player transaction, as far as this club is concerned, the most recent one involving Ricky Henderson. I think he's added a dimension to our club that we didn't have before. We've had a lot of trades in the last few years, but I think that trade had the biggest impact on this club.
Sandy, the discussion has been whether or not Ricky Henderson will be here for future seasons. Where does that stand?
Well, we made a conscious decision not to negotiate before the end of the season, trying to concentrate on the 1989 pennant race. But as soon as things are over, we'll get started, and we hope to have him back.
Sandy, thanks very much.
Okay.
Al?
All right, Gary, so we're ready for Game 2 of the 1989 World Series, and we'll return to Oakland after this message and an ABC News Brief.
Small business is America's future. A recent report on
the Commerce Department said the demand for durable goods totaled 100.
The Small Business Administration foresees the increase.
Running a growing business is no small job.
We'll be here.
Managing working capital, financing, pension plans, and retirement planning.
That is right.
Today, growing businesses can look to Merrill Lynch for a wide range of services to help them achieve that most elusive goal, success. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
Can I buy it, Dad?
Your own car? Aren't you a little young?
Oh, just wait till you see how it handles.
You could be asking for trouble with a used car.
But it's in mint condition.
I'm still not sure it's worth it.
But, Dad, it's got a brand new set of Michelins.
Michelins? Look, I've made a decision. Let's ask your mother.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
4 years ago, when Acura was introduced, our competitors were a little worried. When we were ranked #1 in customer satisfaction, they said, anyone can win once. But that was just the beginning, because the second year we won again. And now, for the 3rd straight year, Acura has outranked every other automobile in America. So much for the beginner's luck theory.
An ABC News Brief. Now from Washington, Forrest Sawyer.
Good evening. All eyes are on foreign stock exchanges tonight to see how they'll respond to Friday's nosedive on Wall Street. Japan's market opened just a few minutes ago. Europe's will open in a few hours. How those markets react could affect trading on Wall Street tomorrow. Residents of Texas and Louisiana are bracing for Hurricane Jerry, which is now poised to hit the Gulf Coast later tonight. We'll have more news later on the Weekend Report.
Back in Oakland, here's the PA announcer, Roy Steele.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please rise. Join in the singing of our national anthem as performed by Capitol recording artist, Oakland's own, The Whisper.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, way does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
We'll return with Game 2 of the World Series after this message, courtesy of Major League Baseball, and a word from our ABC stations.
Hey, this is Mike Cab.
No way.
Come on, Daily, I was first.
You haven't been first since '87.
Now, let me tell you, we'll be there again before you guys.
We're the champs right now.
You mean you only got one of those? Chuck and I don't agree on much.
But we agree on one thing.
If you plan on drinking when you come out to see our teams play,
plan ahead and bring along a designated driver.
Somebody you can count on to get you home safely.
Okay, guys, where to?
Hager Stadium.
The Palace.
It's my cab.
It's on the way.
I mean, you get out first and I gotta pay.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Next Sunday.
You know how she feels about fix-ups? Over my dead body. I'm engaged.
Life goes on. And she's a witch. She's a maid. She's a pistol.
Bang, bang.
But don't make Winnie jealous. Free Spirit followed by Homeroom. Then
$500 says you choke right now.
Paul Newman and Tom Cruise.
You used me.
Yes, I did. I'm not your daddy, I'm not your boyfriend, so don't be playing games with me.
I'm back. The Color of Money next Sunday.
Hey, Roy. I want to try this three-way calling I just got. Stay on the line. I'm going to call Leon.
Haven't heard from Leon in years.
Leon, remember Roy?
That deadbeat, he still owes me $20. If I read his obituary, I'm going to track down his next of kin and get my money.
I'll read your obit before you read mine.
Roy?
Three-way calling, one of GTE's smart call services. A great way to get together.
I'm charging you interest.
Ask 1,000 Californians about life in California. You'll get 1,000 different answers. Ask about plans for the future. No two replies will be the same. But ask who they rely on to turn vision into reality. You'll hear one name more than any other, B of A. Where more Californians save for more good reasons. To find out who's doing the job for more California savers, ask a Californian.
At 1,184,880 miles, a Mercedes-Benz 180D is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most durable car. Just how far can a Mercedes actually go? Frankly, nobody knows.
This World Series game is being brought to you locally in part by Mercedes-Benz. Early evening twilight in the San Francisco Bay Area. Across the bay, the city of San Francisco will pay the $1 toll on the Bay Bridge and will be at Candlestick Park on Tuesday for Game 3 of the World Series. But tonight on the east side of the bay, the Battle of the Bay continues. Game 2 of the World Series. The San Francisco Giants taking on the Oakland Athletics, with Oakland 3 wins away from their first world title in 15 seasons. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Oakland for Game 2 of the World Series. The Giants tonight going with Rick Reuschel. The Oakland A's going with Mike Moore. If you're a Giant fan, you might think, well, the team really looked flat last night. 5 hits, 2 by Clark, 2 by Mitchell. But Dave Stewart has a way of making a lot of teams look flat. But the Giants have gotten their feet wet. They've made their first World Series appearance in 27 years. And so what about the mood of the team? To sum that up, we went to the leadoff hitter, center fielder Brett Butler, who talked earlier with Joe Morgan.
Brett, after last night's performance by Dave Stewart, are you guys a little more concerned about the A's starters than you were coming into this series?
Well, I don't really know about that. The man's won 20 games every year for the last 3 years. He's probably one of the best quality right-handers in the game. He had his best stuff last night, kept us off balance, so we only had 3 guys get hits the whole night. Will Clark got 2 of them. Kevin Mitchell got the other 2. I think Jose Uribe got the 3rd one, and you got to tip your hat to him. But being concerned, like I said, I think he's the best of the staff. He's the ace of the staff, and our concern right now is trying to get out of Oakland splitting.
Well, you and Robbie Thompson ignite the Giants' offense. You didn't do much last night. Mike Moore is a similar pitcher. Do you plan anything different against him than you did Dave Stewart?
Well, maybe we need to try to take a few more pitches. I think being the first game of the World Series, there was a few jitters. I know I had him the first time up. Maybe tried to do a little bit too much after they scored 3 or 4 runs. So maybe it's just to relax a little bit more, to enjoy ourselves a little bit more, and have maybe a different type of attitude in the fact that when you get up there, just take a few more pitches.
I know you'll do a good job.
Well, we'll try.
All right, back upstairs now with Tim McCarver. At the open of the telecast last night, Tim, we were talking about the fact the Giants might just be happy to be in the World Series, whereas the A's are really a team on a mission. They're not just happy to win the pennant. They did that last year as well, and last night's game manifests that scenario.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about the Giants getting their feet wet. Well, the Oakland A's got their feet wet last year, losing to the Dodgers in 5 games. And it seemed like last night they approached the game with a firm sense of purpose. You remember when Jim Palmer was talking earlier in the game about Dave Stewart with that focus? Well, I think the focus was on actually all of the Athletics last night. As a matter of fact, Al, when you think of 2 words, tense and intense, you have to say that the Giants were tense last night, and the Athletics were certainly intense. You could see it in their eyes.
Well, one way for the Giants to get intense as we turn to Jim Palmer is to talk about one of the men we saw Joe Morgan interviewing, Brett Butler and Robbie Thompson. They have to get their leadoff hitters aboard, something that didn't happen last night.
That's right. You talked about the 2 hits that both Clark and Mitchell got, and they got them, but they were in the ballpark, didn't drive anybody beyond because collectively Thompson and Butler were 0 for 8. Now, is that meaningful? Well, over the course of a 1989 season, it only happened 5 times with neither Butler or Thompson getting on. They lost all 5 games. That's meaningful, of course, but then when your 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th hitters go collectively 0 for 15, you're going to have a lot of trouble scoring runs. Across on the other dugout, what happened? Weiss the 9th, they hit a home run, so makes a big difference. They're going to have to score some runs to beat a better pitcher than Dave Stewart.
Good pitching matchup as we get set for Game 2 of the 1989 World Series. Rick Reuschel, who won 17 for the Giants, and Mike Moore, who won 19 for Oakland.
Filtered, never heat pasteurized, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth, real draft beer taste, the world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Okay, that was a mixed spring arrangement to go to Mrs. Dorothy Lawrence in New York.
Hello, Mrs. Lawrence. Sending flowers means sending information long distance. However, during busy periods like Mother's Day, connections aren't always made in time. So this year, FTD switched to U.S. Sprint and successfully processed over 2 million orders. Of course, some results simply can't be measured. 100% digital fiber optic data, only from U.S. Sprint.
Looks to be a McBiscuit morning, hiding under those cloudy skies. Feeling aching for hickory smoke, bacon in a buttermilk biscuit rising up inside. Got a great day, fresh baked, hickory smoke, hunger for just one taste.
The one and only taste of McDonald's bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Gonna be a McBiscuit morning from McDonald's.
They were all around me, so I knew I'd be getting one on my desk. Except this was one secretary who didn't have time to learn a computer. Oh, my VCR was hard enough. Anyway, I come in one morning, there it is, IBM no less, with a little yellow note saying, just turn it on. So are you ready for this? It had a lesson right on the screen that showed me what to do. Why didn't somebody tell me it was going to be so easy?
The on-off endurance test. The shake test. The impact test. You'll probably buy only one furnace in your life, so buy the one that's built to last a lifetime.
The Lennox Pulse Gas Furnace. Take it from Dave Lennox.
For home heating, for cooking, hot water, or drying, choose gas, America's best energy value.
If you have a heart attack, you may be a lot better off if you're in Europe than in America. An alarming new study. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News Tonight, Monday.
The 1989 World Series. The San Francisco Giants versus the Oakland Athletics. Brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. So tap into the cold. By your Toyota dealers and their quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. By Coca-Cola Classics. You can't beat the feeling. And by U.S. Sprint and its new world of telecommunications.
Well, you might recall on the 26th of August, in the 50th anniversary of the Little League World Series, the team from Trumbull, Connecticut beat Chinese Taipei. Final was 5-2 to win the title.
Fly ball deep left field. McGrath is there. It's over. Trumbull wins it.
And so in recognition of that feat, Andy Paul, who pitched and won in the semifinal game, got to throw out a first ball along with the winning pitcher in the championship game. Chris Jury, representing the Little League champions from Trumbull, Connecticut. And now from the Little League World Series to the Big League World Series. Game 2 as the Oakland A's take the field after last night's 5-0 victory. And going to the mound will be Mike Moore, who pitched in relative obscurity and anonymity, though those in baseball knew he had a terrific arm. In several seasons with the Seattle Mariners, became a free agent, signed with Oakland, and was 19-11 this season for the A's. And let's get the inside pitch on Mike Moore of Oakland as we check in with Steve Sachs of the New York Yankees.
Mike Moore is an outstanding all-around pitcher. He's got 3 very good pitches, fastball, slider, and a forkball. His out pitch to the right-handed hitter is going to be the slider away from him. For the left-handed hitter, it's going to be the forkball, but he has a tendency to throw that forkball for wild pitches. In essence, though, Mike is a good closer. As a matter of fact, he's one of the few guys around the league who can reach back and get something extra on that fastball. Also, he's very tough to run on.
Mike Moore on the mound in Game 2, and the lineup that he will be facing tonight for the San Francisco Giants has Brett Butler again leading off in center, the exact lineup they used last night in Game 1. Robbie Thompson will be at second base. Will Clark, 2 hits last night, a single and a double. Kevin Mitchell led the majors in homers with 47. He had 2 hits last night. Matt Williams was 0 for 5, batting 5th. Again, Ernest Riles is the designated hitter. Candy Maldonado gets the start in right field. The catcher is Terry Kennedy. And batting 9th is the switch-hitting shortstop Jose Uribe. Defensively for the A's, and their lineup is the same as last night. Ricky Henderson, Dave Henderson, and Jose Canseco in the outfield. The infield of Carney Lansford, Walt Weiss, Tony Phillips, and Mark McGuire. Terry Steinbach is back of the plate. Mike Moore is on the mound. And Tony La Russa playing the exact same hand that brought him a 5-0 victory last night. Brett Butler getting ready to lead off, and the umpires tonight. Back of the plate, Paul Runge. It's his 3rd World Series. Vic Voltaggio of the American League at first. Dutch Rennert, National at second. Al Clark of the American at third. Eric Gregg, National down the line and left. And Rich Garcia, who was back of the plate last night and would be back of the plate in a 7th game, is down the line and right. So in Oakland, after a beautiful day in the Bay Area, cooling off a bit. Temperature down in the low 60s, but very, very pleasant. And here we go with game 2. Butler, Thompson, and Clark in the first inning. And you can see Lansford in on the grass at third. Butler never comes to the plate, at least not with 2 strikes, without having the third baseman in on the grass. 23 bunch singles this season, and the first pitch of the game high for a ball, 1-0. And Butler misses a bunt attempt, drawing Lansford in the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Trying to do something that he said he was going to do in the interview. He hasn't been hitting and swinging the bat well. 23 bunt hits on the year. Let's try to get on some other way.
Brett 4 for 23 in postseason play, and Moore misses low, 2-1. Outfield well around toward left for Butler. They give him all of right field. And it's away for ball 3. They really limit him defensively, as you can see. Overshifted toward the left side.
And also very shallow. Again, playing percentage baseball. Type of hitter that you know he's going to steal. You got to make him hit the ball over your head.
And the pitch is strike in the count 3-2.
Good policy for a leadoff hitter to take 3-1 and 2-0. The pitcher's trying to get wild, you let him.
Butler, if he gets on, is the Giants' really only legitimate base stealing threat on a sustained basis. He had 31 steals this season, and he's on. Butler had 31 stolen bases. However, he was thrown out 16 times, and that's a lot. And Robbie Thompson comes to the plate.
And behind the plate for the A's, the best throwing catcher of the two, Hasse, will probably catch on Tuesday, but Steinbach threw out about 41 to 42% of the attempted steals, and that's about 11% over the league average.
Now, we discussed last night the fact that Thompson is anything but your typical number 2 hitter because he strikes out a lot, 133 times in fact. Butler held on by McGuire.
I think a very important thing is something that Joe Morgan pointed out this morning in the meeting is that when Butler gets on, it makes Thompson a better hitter. More fastballs, you can't throw the breaking ball, so they can't really pitch to Thompson. They have to more come after him, and he's a good fastball hitter.
And the first pitch is outside, ball 1, 1-0.
Hit and run situation right here. The tandem of Thompson and Butler. And also Roger Craig loves to hit and run. For that reason, the runners at first rarely get good jumps. That's not your intention on a hit and run. You get a good jump to steal a base, but not on the hit and run. We'll see if he's going here.
There he goes, and the pitch is grounded to the right side, fielded by McGuire, and he makes the play unassisted. So with the right side opening up with Phillips breaking the cover second, Thompson tried to punch the ball through, but bounced it down the line. But Thompson is able to move Butler into scoring position, and Will Clark comes to the plate.
And what happens is that he swings at a ball. Look where that ball is, down away. Now Butler does advance into scoring position, but he already threw, talking about Mike Moore, 4 balls to Butler and maybe 2 to Thompson.
Butler at second, 1 out in the first inning, and Will Clark 2 for 4 last night. So hot in postseason that his postseason average dropped from 650 to 625 on the 2 for 4 night. He is 15 for 24 in the playoffs and World Series. And he hit the ball sharply on 3 occasions last night. The single, the double, and a drive to center, and he hits one in the air to deep left field. But Henderson has room, and Rickey makes the catch. Butler tags, but holds at second. Two down in the first inning, and Kevin Mitchell coming to the plate.
Really an underscored fact as you look at Kevin Mitchell is that Rickey Henderson, everybody looks at him as an offensive threat, but an outstanding left fielder. Not that he had to make a difficult play there, but gets to the ball quickly.
Not gifted with a strong throwing arm, but because he gets to the ball quickly, he releases the ball quickly to hold the runners. He doesn't throw a lot of runners out, but by releasing the ball quickly, you hold the runners, and that's what good outfielders do best.
Butler at second, 2 down now in the top of the first inning. 1-0 on Kevin Mitchell, who would be the favorite to win the National League's MVP award. Again, the ballot's already in, and he chops it foul at the plate, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The Giants last night, with only 5 hits and 1 walk, so 6 base runners, and only once did they get a man to third.
See that half shin guard on the left ankle of Kevin Mitchell? He said he's even wearing it under his suit. Not only in his baseball uniform, but that's what happens on that ball down and in. He pounds it into that left ankle, and that's the reason he has the shin guard on.
Steinbach blocks one in the dirt, and the count 2-1. Fahey telling Butler to hold on.
Moore with 17 wild pitches, and right here it appears it's going to be one, but Terry Steinbach blocking it extremely well, staying down in front of it. And that's the forkball, or the split-fingered fastball, that Mike Moore has acquired this year. One of the big difference. Now he became a 19-game winner.
That's what you do as a catcher. You don't try to catch those pitches. You try to block them. Keep them in front of you. You coddle them so they don't bounce far away from your body.
2-1 to Mitchell. His stroke foul outside third, and the count 2-2. Kevin with a tremendous first half. Everybody talking about the possibility of his eclipsing Maris's mark, 61. Tailed off in the second half, bothered with a wrist problem. In fact, he thought he might have to undergo surgery, but in talking with him the other day, he thinks he might be able to avoid that in the offseason. 2-2 to Mitchell. In the dirt again, ball 3.
Because of that bad left wrist, as a matter of fact, that's why he's having a tough time with breaking balls away. So with first base open, I would assume that Mike Moore will throw that split finger or the slider in this situation. Another fine play by Steinbach. Steinbach. I was thinking of John.
You know, and it seems like with a runner at second, it's not that important a play, but if the one that was previously thrown in the dirt got by him, then he goes to third, and you take a pitch away from Moore. You know, in the sense that he doesn't want to really bounce a pitch with a runner on third. Free to do it now.
Good thing you corrected that, Tim, or you would have incurred his wrath. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Hit foul off to the right. So 2 down, first inning. As the crowd settles in Oakland, and there's a guy with a Raider jacket, and we discussed it last night. The folks here hopeful of the Raiders coming back. Raiders, by the way, won today, beat Kansas City.
Because they had their baseball player back.
Yep. Bo somebody.
Yeah.
3-2. And it's popped up. And the Giants will squander a scoring opportunity in the first as Rice puts it away. Butler left at second. Up come the A's in the bottom of the first.
Occasionally, through the sands of time, there emerge designs which are viewed as more than evolutionary. from the revolutionary 1990 Toyota Celica.
She's the girl of my dreams. She taught me what real love means. You can't beat it. The feeling you get when your love is the real thing. Hi, Daddy. Can't beat the feeling.
Coca-Cola Classic. You can't beat the feeling.
Looks like a shot from the cover of the Fireside Book of Baseball right there. Looking at Rick Reuschel of the Giants. Here's the inside pitch on Rick from Tony Gwynn of the Padres.
Against Rick Reuschel, the hitters are going to have to be patient because Rick's not an overpowering pitcher. His fastball has movement, but with runners on, he will change speeds. He's got a quick delivery and is one of the best in the NL at holding runners. And for a big man, a great fielder, and it's really difficult to bunt on. But we'll know early if he's going to be successful because if the ball is down in the strike zone, he's going to be in there. But if it's up, he's going to be in trouble.
And he was in trouble in Game 2 of the playoffs and then put it all together in Game 5. So Reuschel loosening up. The lineup he'll be facing tonight for the Oakland A's, exactly the same as last night. Ricky Henderson, who had 2 hits in Game 1, leading off. Carney Lansford, who was 1 for 5 last night, and then Jose Canseco, who was 0 for 3 in Game 1. Dave Parker homered to right. And Dave Henderson batting 5th. Mark McGuire hitting in the number 6 spot. The catcher, Terry Steinbach. Tony Phillips had 2 hits last night. And Walt Weiss hit a home run in the 4th inning to cap the scoring. That made it 5-0, and Dave Stewart shut him down from there. So Ricky Henderson, a terror on the base paths in the playoffs, driving the Blue Jays and Ernie Whitt in particular crazy. Last night, 2 hits, but didn't steal a base. Henderson now 8 for 20 in postseason, plus those 7 walks in the playoffs. So even though this year he had 274, his on-base percentage was .411, which means you get aboard 41% of the time.
And then you steal 77 bases.
You saw Matt Williams about even with a bag at third. Henderson not that much of a bunt threat. Ricky swings away, and of course he swings away enough that he's hit 40 career leadoff home runs. And it's 3-0.
Remember what Tony Gwynn said. Go back to the playoffs, gave up 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning. Got everything up, and then he came back, pitched a marvelous game in Game 5. Only 7 hits in 8 innings.
And Henderson takes all the way and draws the walk. When Reuschel faced Chicago in that second game of the playoffs, he retired only 2 batters. One was Andre Dawson, who he struck out. The other was Dwight Smith on a line out to Clark. Carney Lansford comes to the plate. Lansford losing out on the last day to Kirby Puckett for the batting title, and Reuschel misses inside. So Rick has missed with his first 5 pitches. Rene Laxman flashing the signs from third.
If I were Ricky, I wouldn't run until Reuschel throws a strike.
The conservative lead for Henderson, but he's going. There's a strike, and Kennedy drops the ball.
So much for the unpredictability of Ricky Henderson.
You know, I guess maybe, excuse me, Timmy.
Postseason stolen base.
And I think what he's thinking is they're not going to pitch out, so let's go on the first move. Well, you can see right there. And what Tony Gwynn talked about was the quick move of Reuschel to the plate. He gets it there about 1.1 second, but if your catcher doesn't catch it, you don't have a chance.
And now Lansford hits one down the line for a base hit and maybe more. Henderson comes in to score. Maldonado fields in foul territory. Lansford with a double, 1-0 Oakland.
this is what Carney Lansford did to hit .336. He just hits the ball where it's pitched, an inside-out swing. Dr. Merv Redeman, he'll say he hits the inside part of the ball. By the way, he has that slicing job, only 2 home runs. A good job of delivering Henderson.
Jose Canseco, hitless last night, hits a little grounder to third, fielded by Williams, who looks Lansford back and throws him out. And Canseco is now 0 for his last 22 over the last 2 World Series. So 1 gun in the first inning, and Dave Parker coming up.
Ought to give him 2 at-bats for that because he did not get Lansford to third base. No effort to do it.
Well, I don't think with Jose Canseco, if I'm Tony La Russa, I don't want him up there trying to go the other way. Lansford, however, was a guy who had good things happen with the double because he was trying to get Henderson the other way, but not Canseco. That's the way I look at it.
Now Dave Parker foul tips one at the plate, and the count is 0-1.
Well, the only reason I say that, Tim, is because one of the things that Canseco said, he said, now with Ricky Henderson in the ball club, I can go the other way. I don't have to be concerned with pulling the ball.
Well, you can go the other way naturally, but I think when you go the other way, you don't swing the bat. You coddle the bat through the strike zone and end up getting under it. I think it takes away from your normal swing. If I'm Jose Canseco, a guy who hit all those home runs, 17 and only 200 at bat.
Parker hits one to right field, right to Maldonado, who makes the catch. Lansford remains at second, and that's the second out.
I know what you're saying. You do like to be productive when you make an out, especially with a guy on second and nobody out. But guys like that are paid to drive in runs.
Well, and so is Parker, and that's why he led the league and led the team in RBIs. And if he does get him to third, it's 2-0. But we can sit here and debate that all night long.
Dave Henderson at the plate. Dave last night, like Canseco, was hitless. Every other Oakland starter had at least 1 hit. And the pitch is a strike on the outside corner. So Ricky Henderson, who walked and stole second and scored the run to make it 1-0 Oakland, with Dave Henderson at the plate and Lansford at second, and Reuschel throws one low. 1-1.
Reuschel having a tremendous, and you can look at the batting averages in the first couple of innings, and sinker baller, what he'd like to do is establish the rhythm of getting the ball around the knees. But he had a groin pull. And, 12-2, 5-6 over really since July 1st.
Off speed is fouled back, and the count 2-2. When you say off speed with Reuschel, that would apply to about 3/4 of his pitches, because the whole key, of course, is changing speeds.
In and out, occasional breaking ball. Tim, as you were saying earlier, one of the good curveballs, real tight spin, hard to pick up if you're a hitter.
2-2, got him swinging. Blew a fastball by him, so he escapes further damage in the first. It's 1-0 A's.
Hello. Ed says you have to get up pretty early in the morning to make a better cooler than Bartles and James, because as you can see, we start picking the fine wine grapes that go into our coolers before sunup, while they are still cool, fresh, and full of flavor. These look just right. Now, while this means an early start, we believe the quality of Bartles and James is worth losing a little sleep over. And as Ed says, a cooler grape makes a better tasting cooler. And thank you for your support.
Recognize that skyline? There's only one place in the world looks like that. Manhattan. Where the air's clean, the living's easy, and the food's great. Every time I'm in Manhattan, I order my personal favorite, the New York Strip. Delicious. Manhattan's known for its famous restaurants, so be sure to try all 3. Beef, real food, Manhattan, Montana.
You're looking sharp, you're looking good. You've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son, it's what we've always done. Gillette
The Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free, Toyota.
Toyota's new four-wheel drive, four-door 4Runner for $19.90. Space, luxury, and V6 power. Where you go is your concern. Getting you back is ours.
NBA action is back. The Denver Nuggets head overseas to take the court against Europe's finest in the McDonald's Basketball Open next Sunday on ABC Sports.
Rick Reuschel giving up 1 run in the first inning, but it could have been worse. Watch how the left side of the infield works in tandem to hold Lansford at second. Williams with the look, Uribe, the shortstop, going over to cover third since Williams didn't have time to get back. That prevented Lansford from going to third base and scoring on Parker's fly ball to right.
And that's where Carney remained, and the A's settled for 1, and we go to the second inning. Matt Williams to lead off. Williams, the Giants' opening night third baseman this season, but was in a terrible slump. He was 7 for 54, sent out to Phoenix. Among other things, while he was back in the minors, he got married. And then the following week, the Giants called him back up, and he stayed there for good. Not only filling the role at third base, but as importantly, providing protection in the batting order. The Giants seeking that number 5 hitter to hit behind Kevin Mitchell, especially at that point in the season when Mitchell was red hot.
Now, why would you have ever pitched to Mitchell early in the year when you had Ernest Riles behind him? Not to demean Ernest, because he's a good line drive hitter, but does not have the power.
Nick Baltaggio says no on the appeal, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Williams, Riles, and Maldonado in the second inning. Giants still looking for their first run of the World Series. Squibbed foul, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pretty much summing up the mood in the Bay Area. Those shirts and the hybrid caps. Battle of the Bay. A look toward the Oakland Hills, with the sun going down in the Bay Area on a very pleasant night. Sky is still light enough that it could be a little tricky at this hour as you look at the sun setting across the bay. But there is a little cloud cover, some high cloudiness. Not quite as difficult as it would be if it was a brighter blue. Wrapped foul again, and still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I was talking to the Giants hitting instructor, Dusty Baker, who played here in Oakland. He played right field. And he said at this time of night, even this late, the middle of October, there is a glare for the right fielder. Even when the sun goes down, because the super boxes, sometimes the line drives or the half fly balls, the semi-fly balls, get in those windows of the super boxes.
Williams got on strikes. Third time he has struck out in 5 at-bats in the World Series, and the batter will be Ernest Riles. Riles, the designated hitter. And again, the DH is used in the World Series only in the American League parks. The pitchers hit when we go to Candlestick on Tuesday. And again, all the World Series games this year played at night, so it's real simple. It's 8 o'clock Eastern and 7 Central and 6 Mountain and 5 Pacific for airtime Tuesday. 1-1 the count. Two and 1.
That's a pretty interesting graphic because Mike Moore is a good strikeout pitcher in the top 10 and wins, earned run average, and strikeouts.
A graphic indicating Riles' success against strikeout pitchers, which would normally mean he's a good dead fastball hitter.
Well, I tell you what I've seen, and I talked to Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, used to catch me in Baltimore, one of the catchers here at Oakland, is that Mike Moore has got a great fastball, but he has thrown up to 45 split-fingered fastballs in a game. He did that in the playoffs.
Riles hits it to right field and deep, and Canseco goes back and makes the catch at the edge of the warning track. And appears to have hurt himself as well as he grimaced, making the play. 2 down. And Jose flexing that left leg. Of course, he missed half the season with the broken wrist.
Ernest Riles, a low fastball. The interesting thing also about that graphic was when Ernest Riles faced Mike Moore, Moore only threw fastball slider. He didn't come up with a split finger fastball until this year under the tutelage of Dave Duncan.
2 down, Maldonado the batter, and the pitch is strike, and the count 0-1.
An interesting story how he decided to throw it. He comes over from Seattle as a free agent, watches Dave Stewart, who we saw last night, use it with tremendous expertise, along with Bob Welch. And he says, I think it'd be a good idea if I learn how to throw that. And Dave Duncan said, well, I'll tell you, you got to throw on the side today. No better time to start. And you put it with a good slider, in fact, a great slider and a 90-plus fastball, gives him an extra pitch, and that's been the difference. 7-15 last year was Mike Moore, 19-11 this year.
Maldonado fouls it away. You think about it, the Mariners never in contention with Mike Moore, and of course Mark Langston. Moore becomes a free agent, comes here. Langston gets traded to Montreal, so they're going to revamp and rebuild their pitching staff, and they do have some real good young arms, but Moore and Langston, half of that rotation, and the team never in a race. Fouled back.
Yeah, Mike Moore played for a Seattle team in 1988 that was 68 in 93. You look at his one-loss record. And to come over to a team that last year won 104, this year 99, he had to be smiling. Also, he took a 10% cut. They cut his salary in his option year up in Seattle. Good way to lose a guy.
1-2. Before the new owners came in.
That's true, but I'll tell you what, that's a good way to get a guy to want to go out and become a free agent. Also, the Kingdome, the toughest ballpark in the American League, at least from home runs, to pitch in.
2 out, bases empty, and the 1-2 pitch to Maldonado is a half swing, and down he goes. 2 strikeouts to Moore. Giants done in the second. It remains 1-0 Oakland.
I'm tired of us centers getting no recognition. I played 13 seasons in front of millions of fans, made All-Pro twice, and started in 3 Super Bowls. Yet no one knows who I am. Hey, even if I'm not well known, at least my beer is. Miller Lite. An All-Pro center doesn't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great. Let me get that.
Hey, aren't you Randy Cross?
It's well known. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
Introducing the 1990 Toyota Celica. Its totally new shape will please your sense of design. And the way it moves will stimulate your sense of excitement. The all-new Toyota Celica. You'll love what it does for you.
Don't be fooled by commercials where one battery company's toy outlasts the others. The fact is, Energizer was never invited to their playoffs because nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Stop the bunny, please.
And going and go.
I love the sound of the rain.
And I love the taste of your fresh brewed coffee.
Oh, thanks, but it's not fresh brewed. It's new Trey Cow.
Like we said, nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and going.
Daddy, smell my flowers.
Oh, my sinuses. When sinus trouble strikes, reach for Nasatine.
Only Nasatine has fast-acting Mucinol. Watch as nasal...
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and going.
You missed a spot.
Free Spirit returns next Sunday night.
Jose Canseco in the Oakland dugout. Take another look right now at the play that he starts to grimace as he makes the catch.
Right, and what really to amplify the importance of this, games 3, 4, and 5, if there is game 5, will be in the National League ballpark. Barker really has not played if he's hurt. It took 75 games for the right fielder that replaced Jose Canseco, and that was Stan Javier, to hit a home run. So if he is indeed hurt, matter of fact, that is the only home run, the home run by Javier, that was hit in the absence of Canseco by a right fielder.
Mark McGuire leading off in the bottom of the second inning. McGuire, Steinbach, and Phillips. Marco had only 1 hit in the 5 games in the series last year. Had 3 last night. The count.
I talked to Ron Schuler, who is the advanced scout for Oakland. I said, did you get a chance to see Reuschel? He said, yeah, he was great the last time, but didn't have the arm speed he normally had earlier in the year. And arm speed allows you to get your arm, not only give you a little bit more velocity, even though velocity is not the most important thing with Reuschel, but it allows you to get your arm out in front. And if you don't have it, it affects your control.
On 2 hops to Williams. And he guns him down. But Williams is a fellow that they're thinking about eventually making a shortstop. But a lot of people feel the way he has looked this season, he was born to play third base.
Number 36, Terry Steinbach.
Well, if a guy like Williams can play third base like this, I think it would be foolish to move him to shortstop, because the primary responsibility of a shortstop is defense. And if you get to thinking too much about defense, you might lose some of the offense that Williams has the potential for.
I mean, that was a veteran play, making sure he didn't get caught between hops. And if you watched him during the playoffs, he got everything he could possibly get to outside of 1 ball. There's a drive to deep left center field, but Kevin Mitchell goes back, and it dies at the edge of the track. So Steinbach gives it a ride, but becomes the second out, and the batter will be Tony Phillips. And we'll get you caught up in the NFL. Lions beat Tampa Bay. Herschel Walker, a big day as Minnesota beats Green Bay. Houston upsets the Bears. Atlanta over New England. The Giants knock off Washington for the 2nd time this season. Dolphins upset Cincinnati. And the 49ers had a struggle early on, but beat Dallas. Seattle wins over San Diego. Denver a winner. Pittsburgh knocks off Cleveland. Jets lose to New Orleans. And you saw the rest. In there for a strike to Phillips, and the count is 0-1. Tony, a switch hitter, and only a 4-point difference from the 2 sides of the plate. 263 lefty and 259 righty this season. And he grounds it softly down to Clark, and it's a 3-up and 3-down inning. 1-0 Oakland at the end of 2, and back we come to the Coliseum after a word from our ABC stations.
Starting Saturday, October 28th, 4 great stars in a series of all-new mysteries.
I'll be darned.
Peter Falk returns as Columbo, and Burt Reynolds as BL Stryker.
All right!
New this season, Jacqueline Smith as Christine Cromwell, and Telly Savalas with all-new Kojaks. October 28th, the premiere of the ABC Saturday Mystery.
Recently, Road and Track magazine concluded a search for the world's 5 best cars. After exhaustive testing and analysis, they chose 4 exotic sports cars. And even more significantly, only 1 sedan. The Mercedes-Benz 300E.
The plan was to build a leader in technical education. The result? quality courses for students at our technical institutes, high-tech electronics, and computer-aided design. Thousands of graduates every year beginning exciting careers. ITT Technical Institutes, another way ITT is building businesses into leaders.
You are what you eat. What's true for man is true for machines. The right diet can make a difference. Get Mobile Super Unleaded Plus. Its detergent formula can unclog vital engine parts. For power and performance, drive your engine clean with Mobile Super Unleaded Plus. Get a free Rams or Raiders glass with every fill-up of 8 gallons or more of Mobile Super Unleaded Plus.
When it comes to sports, your team is here on Channel 7.
Jose Canseco, as you take another look at the drive by Riles, and I'm sure if it's the warning track that's obviously harder than the grass or the fact that his legs been bothering him. After stealing 40 last year, only stole 6 in about 75 games, has been bothered by some leg problems.
Top of the third inning, Terry Kennedy to start things for the Giants. Kennedy, Uribe, and Butler, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. The Giants have now gone 23 consecutive innings in their last 2 World Series appearances without scoring a run. They were shut out last night. If you go back to the 7th game of the 62 World Series, the game that ended when McCovey lined to Richardson, they were shut out that day 1-0 by Ralph Terry, and they haven't scored since the 5th inning of Game 6, which was held exactly 27 years ago today. And they scored off Whitey Ford and Jim Coates.
So it's a 27-year scoreless streak, right?
2-1 to Kennedy is hit sharply into right field for a base hit. First hit off Mike Moore. Kennedy with a leadoff single, and Jose Uribe, the switch-hitting shortstop, comes to the plate.
Just another indication that left-handers like the ball down. Boy, down and in. We saw Parker's home run last night. Phillips' ball hit so hard he can't even react to it. Does not react quickly enough. Riles driving a ball. Here's another one. If they said, where do you like it on a batting tee, they'd say just about thigh high inside half, and that's where it was.
Uribe takes outside, ball 1.
I'll tell you, I would not be holding Terry Kennedy on at first base because Phillips, the second baseman, is cheating towards second. And there is a big hole on the right side, and Tony La Russa has, sure enough, moved McGuire behind Terry Kennedy.
Little chopper back to Moore. He has to double clutch to wait for Weiss to get to second, and that costs him a double play. Moore looking at second and had to double clutch to wait for the shortstop to get near the bag, and they settle for the 1-6 force.
Of course, the way that you can remedy this is you know who you're going to throw it to, and I think he does. You got to pick him up early. And also, you should never, ever break your hands. Keep your hands together, take a little throw step. And you can see Weiss trying to turn it. Throws him a good sinker at second base, and a good slide by Kennedy. Could have been a double play if it was executed properly. Yeah, Weiss had to stay more toward the third base bag because Uribe hits the ball that way a lot. So he can't cheat towards second for the double play. If he cheated like he would normally do on a left-handed hitter, it's an easy double play.
Now Butler, who walked in the first inning. Uribe, not really a base-stealing threat. He stole only 6 this season. Lansford in on the grass at third, and Moore throws over to McGuire.
Same situation right here with Butler hitting. You see how far Weiss is away from second base. Phillips a tad closer to second. So on a ball back to the pitcher, it's going to be, again, tough to turn the double play with the speed of Butler and the distance that Weiss is from second base. Of course, then the question is, why doesn't Phillips cover? He's closer to the bag. You know, you usually designate earlier. Makes sense, as it should have been on the ground ball previously hit.
You always turn around and either look at the shortstop and he'll, give you the sign with the glove to the chest, it's me or somebody else. That would be the second baseman.
First pitch to Butler misses. Ball 1-0 the count. Oakland ahead 1-0. Third inning in game 2. Uribe at first base and 1 out. Check out the open and closed mouth now, and you can figure out who will be covering at second base.
Open mouth is you got it. Closed mouth, that means Weiss is covering right now. And Weiss is not cheating towards second base.
And nor should he, because Butler's going to hit the ball that way. So it really doesn't make sense as far as the responsibility of Walt Weiss. He should just say, hey, Tony, I know it's a tougher play for the second baseman because his momentum's going away from first base.
Phillips has it now.
They changed it. And there goes Uribe, and it's a little chopper hit foul. And the count 1-1.
That's strange. It appeared that Phillips was going to cover on a breaking ball, and you would think that the breaking ball would be pulled. So
the count. Open you, closed me.
He's
It'll be
covered.
Weiss. And Uribe goes, and it's hit in the hole for a base hit into left field. And a classic example there of the shortstop trying to figure out who should be covering and guessing wrong.
Brett Butler should be, see right there, Weiss going towards the bag for some reason because Butler is a left field hitter. Bad decision by Walt Weiss. Not because he's covering, but you can see him sneaking in. Butler, all the scouting reports tell you, hits the ball the other way. Phillips should have been covering.
Well, the way to avoid that is don't leave your position. Move in toward the plate and thereby get closer to second base. But if you take the direct shot to second, you leave your position. That's what Walt did right there.
So the Giants with runners at first and third, infield at double play depth. Butler with 31 stolen bases during the regular year, and Thompson at the plate. Robbie, with runners in scoring position this season, hit a measly 175, and that's the lowest mark in the majors for regular players. There goes Butler. It's swung on and missed. The throw is very high and saved by Phillips. And staying at third is Uribe. So the Giants now avoid the double play possibility with Butler at second base, and the count 0 balls and 1 strike on Thompson.
Again, Steinbach, as we said, 42% of the time he caught attempted steals. He must have thought he had a shot.
He had a tough pitch to handle too.
So that
split finger, that was low.
Thompson with 2 runners in scoring position hits it foul, and the count 0 balls and 2 strikes. So runners at second and third. Uribe at third, Butler at second, 0-2 on Thompson with Clark on deck, and then Mitchell. Will waiting his turn with Oakland ahead 1-0 in the third inning. Infield is back. They give up a run on the ground ball. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Remember the wild pitches right here. Moore going for the strikeout. He'll probably go with the split finger. And Uribe reminded to be ready. 17 wild pitches on the season.
And Thompson, a man who struck out 133 times this year. 1-2 to Thompson. Squibbed foul, staying alive.
And Moore with 172 strikeouts in his 241 innings. So he can strike you out. That's what he needs. Perfect position to do it with a 1-2 count.
2.
You can see Terry Steinbach, the catcher, put down 1 and then go up. And that normally means it'll be a fastball because he's not going to ask for a breaking ball up. But Moore with 2 kinds of fastball. That was the riding fastball you hold across the seams.
Fouled away again. Still a ball and 2 strikes on Robbie Thompson. Steinbach now to the mound. Possibility, of course, existing here. Anytime you have a runner at second base, you might want to rethink the signs. Clark on deck, and then Mitchell behind him. Moore's 1-2 to Thompson is hit in the air to deep right center field. Moving over is Henderson to make the catch. Tagging is Uribe. Throw comes into Weiss, and the game is tied. And so the Giants get on the board for the first time in the series, and it's 1-1 with 2 out in the third. Butler at second base. And Will Clark, the hitter.
And a fine at bat by Robbie Thompson, fouling off some very tough pitches and then getting what appeared to be a slider. A nice play by Henderson, that ball tailing away from him. And he gets the ball, pivots, and throws quickly back to Weiss to hold Butler at second. Good at bat by Thompson.
And a most interesting inning for the Giants, too. Remember Uribe's bouncer back to Moore, who had to double clutch. That would have been a double play. Instead, Uribe reaches. The wrong guess by Weiss to open the hole for the single by Butler, and now the sac fly as Clark fouls it away. 0-1. So the Giants really scratching out a run here in the third.
And think about it, Roger Craig has put the hit and run on 3 times in this ball game. Twice unsuccessfully, once successfully.
The 0-1 to Clark is in the dirt and blocked by Steinbach. 1-1. Clark flied out in the first inning. 2 for 5 in the series. And 15 for 25. 600 in postseason. One and 2 the count.
That graphic worth another look.
You know, he'll tell you this is what he comes to the ballpark for. He wants to hit in these positions. A lot of hitters, hey, try to walk, let the other guy do it. Not Will Clark.
That was regular season, and of course didn't count the most important at-bat of the year for the Giants as it rolls away from Steinbach. The throw to third is too late. So Butler advances in the count 2-2, and of course the play we're talking about, which would figure in a situation with the score tied and runners in scoring position. 8th inning, game 5 the other day against Mitch Williams.
I think Steinbach missed that ball because he tried to catch it. Remember the ball in the dirt. The catcher doesn't try to catch it. He tries to block it. And that's why it skipped by Steinbach.
Scored as a wild pitch. So with 2 out, the 2-2 to Clark is swung on and missed, but it bounces away from Steinbach, who has to throw him out at first, and he does. So the out had to be recorded there, and the Giants are done in the third. But tie it with a run, and it's 1-1 at the end of 2.5.
The finance ministers of the 7 most prosperous Western nations.
The world has become a global marketplace. Last year, Merrill Lynch helped corporations and governments raise $230 billion for building industries and creating opportunities. We're proud to have inspired that much trust. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
How to get your package through a Mediterranean storm. Most Federal Express overseas employees are from overseas, so they not only know the local customs regulations, they know the local customs. And that helps your package sail right through. Because when delivering in Rome, it helps to be a Roman. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over here is now the best way to ship it over there.
Toyota's 1990 4x4. Don't leave the road without it.
Introducing the Super Value Menu at Wendy's. Everything on it is at a special low price, like Biggie Drinks, Biggie Fries, Chili, and our delicious new Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. Come try the Super Value Menu at Wendy's.
There's an enemy in your car's engine, cold. That's why you need the special quality of Pennzoil motor oil. Pennzoil has the right pumpability to flow faster and protect your engine. Conquer the enemy cold with the world-class protection of Pennzoil.
So the game is tied 1-1. Terry Steinbach throwing out Clark at first base. By the way, on that play, it's the same thing as a ground out. You might have seen the runner from third crossing the plate before the out is recorded at first base, and you'll see it from this angle. But it's the same thing as, let's say, a ground ball is short. If the out's recorded at first base, the run does not count.
As a matter of fact, you could see Butler crossing in front of Steinbach, and that made the throw to McGuire that much tougher. Usually a routine play, but not routine since Butler was in the line of sight between Steinbach and McGuire.
Walt Weiss at the plate with the count 1-1. Yeah, Terry must have felt like a receiver on that one, or a quarterback actually looking for a receiver through a secondary.
Yeah.
Man coming in from third, runner going to first. And McGuire proved an adequate wideout as Maldonado pulls in the fly ball off the bat of Weiss. One down in the third inning, and Ricky Henderson coming to the plate.
I think it's also interesting to note the wild pitch before. Now look how Steinbach goes after that ball with the glove. So it's a wild pitch, Butler to third. Now on the strikeout, Steinbach gets down to block the ball, and that's why he kept it in front of him. Or at least not to have the ball trickle away too far so he couldn't get Will Clark.
Ricky Henderson, 6 for 15 in postseason, plus 8 walks now, including 1 in the first inning. Takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. Henderson in the first, walked, stole second, and scored on a Lansford double. Check swing foul, and the count is 0-2. So Rick Reuschel, after a most inauspicious beginning, the walk, the steal, the double to Lansford, has settled down, and he's now retired 7 straight. So he began the game as he began game 2 of the playoffs, but he settled into the type of groove he got into in game 5 Monday when he worked 8. 1-2.
The only run he gave up on Friday, an unearned run. Kevin Mitchell lost a pop fly in the sun. Speaking of the sun,
beautiful shot.
Speaking of the glare, every time I say something, we see a beautiful shot of South Bay.
No.
What are you tell me?
About the middle of the bay.
Middle bay.
Yeah,
okay.
At that point, there it is, looking out toward Alameda and the San Francisco Bay, and the Goodyear Columbia hovering above the Coliseum. It'll make the 8-mile jaunt on Tuesday for Game 3 to Candlestick as Henderson loops one into right field for a base hit. So Ricky is on again, and you know what that means with Lansford coming to the plate.
Third baseman, Carney Lansford.
Well, look at the crouch of Henderson and again, does not mind hitting with 2 strikes. As an opposing pitcher, you often wonder how many bats does he go through in the course of a season. It's not really the annoyance that he causes when he gets on, it's how annoying he gets on. To reinforce your point, in last night's ball game, Ricky Henderson took 9 called strikes in 5 at-bats. 9. He's going to work you as the pitcher. He's going to work the umpire. Tried to work Richie Garcia last night. Did not like a lot of the high calls. A lot of strikes up in the strike zone he thought were balls.
He bluffs going, and the pitch inside. Ball 1. 1-0. Henderson at first base, held on by Clark. Reuschel with that slide step to the plate, and what he'd love to do here, of course, is induce Lansford to hit the ball on the ground. Carney hit into 21 double plays, and again, he's got that tender hamstring.
Roger Craig, a very daring manager. He's like his buddy Don Zimmer of the Cubs. He'll pitch out when the hitter's ahead in the count.
That's grounded foul, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Especially with a pitcher with as good a control as Rick Reuschel. Yeah, that's the important factor. If you have somebody like Gereltz who's struggling, you're less likely to do it. You're looking at a guy right here that has really exquisite control. Scott Gereltz, who really had good stuff last night. I think he learned a lot. And you see him again, he will probably pitch better. Learn something about his own stuff, but also about the Oakland A's hitters.
Almost got caught leaning the other way. Ricky stretched out his lead that time, and Reuschel nearly nabbed him.
Oh, trying to get him to commit himself. If you look at the end play, Clark just almost getting, but gave you that soft left leg, and a lot of runners will go on the knee, the left part of the knee. Lift up that heel. Valtaggio with a good call. Looked like he was back. Did make it close.
Now the 1-1 pitch is grounded to third. Williams goes to Thompson 1, and Lansford has hit into a double play. Exactly what Reuschel wanted. End of 3 in Game 2. Giants 1, A's 1.
Honey, I think it's time we got a new set of Michelins.
Couldn't we save a little on a cheaper brand?
Well, our last set of Michelin's got over 60,000 miles.
We've got to watch every penny now that Becky's going away to college.
Yeah, but, you know, there's one thing more important than putting Becky through college.
What's that?
Making sure she gets there.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Bo knows baseball. Bo knows football. Bo knows basketball, too. Bo knows tennis? No. Bo knows weights.
Bo, you don't know diddly.
Even when all of Company B heads for the phone, it's no problem for Gail Godfrey.
Delta Airlines, Gail Godfrey.
Y'all fly to Lubbock, Texas?
Yes, that is confirmed.
I got some friends who want to talk to you now. Just hold on a second. Thank you. Cincinnati, Ohio. New York City. Monroe, Louisiana. Albuquerque, New Mexico. San Jose, California. Portland, Oregon. New Montana.
You're all set. Thank you for calling, Delta.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Gail. Did you get many calls this afternoon?
1.
Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
so immature.
Was that your sister? I'm not sure.
My spine felt like a lightning rod.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Life goes on tonight.
Rebecca!
Following the World Series.
Gorgeous aerial view of the Oakland Coliseum. Game 2 of the 1989 World Series. Tied 1-1 to the 4th we go. Kevin Mitchell fouls it away. Mitchell, Williams, and Riles facing Moore.
The double play into which Lansford hit. Watch Ricky Henderson. The ball hit too sharply to allow him a chance to get on top of Robbie Thompson. So Ricky just goes down about 7 feet before the bag.
Quite in contrast, of course, to what he did in Game 1 of the playoffs, and that turned out to be the pivotal play when he
literally.
Oh, yes. In that game, it broke a tie on what would have been a double play as he went into Nelson Liriano, forced a wild throw, and the A's went on to win it as Mitchell grounds one into center for a base hit. So the Giants, for the 3rd time tonight, have the leadoff man on. They were able to capitalize with a leadoff single in the 3rd, and it will bring up Matt Williams.
Well, Mitchell swung the bat extremely well last night with 2 base hits. One a rocket to right and the other one a jam shot. This time, you just cannot throw a fastball in the middle of the plate and not expect Kevin to have a good swing at it. He's got to be a little bit more interested tonight. Last night down by 5 runs early in the ball game. Concentration sometimes wanes.
Mitchell, not a base-stealing threat in a straight base-stealing sense. 3 steals this season, fought 4 times.
But Matt Williams, a powerful right-handed hitter who pulls the ball mostly. So what Tony La Russa will do, will hold him on with Williams hitting, but probably not with Riles, the left-hander, on deck.
0-1 the count on Williams.
Really 2 games into the World Series, you can see what the book is on Matt Williams. A good split finger fastball. You saw it drop, and last night Dave Stewart got him out with a split finger, showed him enough fastballs to keep him honest. You don't want to throw him a fastball unless they have to.
That's hit to right field, and it is a foul ball, just foul. 0-2. So Matt back to the plate, Mitchell back to first. Williams looking for his first hit in the series. He's 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts.
Well, I think the point you made earlier about Canseco not going to right field is also very valid here. I don't think he tried to do that, Tim. I think what happened, he just got fooled. Another split finger fastball. Of course, when you're hitting just above 200, even though he did have 18 home runs, you'll take anything.
Yeah, both Canseco and Williams can go naturally the other way, but when they try to do it, they don't have the same swing.
0-2 to Williams is grounded foul. Matt Williams, when he hits the ball to the left side, 288, up the middle, 381, or to center. Going the other way, 150. Almost like the Mark McGwire graphic we brought up last night, and he looped one into right field for a base hit. Pitching him away, and the count 1-2.
Of course, a good point that you brought up last night, Tim, is where do you play a guy that doesn't hit the ball to right field with a lot of authority? You play him very shallow, and that's where Canseco's playing. So a little bit better defense by Oakland than we saw in San Francisco last night. They played McGwire very deep. He's more of a pull hitter.
And down goes Williams. So they've gotten his number thus far in the World Series. 0 for 6 and 4 strikeouts. 4 in the game for Mike Moore. 1 out here in the 4th inning, and Ernest Riles coming to the plate. Half his pitches fastballs, 12 sliders, 16 forkballs.
Just remember at the beginning of this year, if you were a San Francisco Giant, you wouldn't have had to look for those forkballs. Did not have that pitch, so it's made quite a difference. 7 wins to 19. Of course, a lot has to do with the quality of the Oakland ball club, not only hitting, but defense, but also the strong bullpen.
Ernest Riles fly to right in the second inning, to deep right as it turned out. That's the play on which Canseco went back and began flexing his knee after making the catch.
Tell you, McGuire holding Mitchell on at first. 3 stolen bases for Kevin on the year. Riles can pump that ball through the hole. I think McGuire ought to be behind him. If Mitchell runs, it'll be a hit-and-run play.
And he's running, and the pitch is grounded to the left side. Weiss, one hand, throws to first, and Mitchell advances. So Mitchell now in scoring position with 2 down, and Candy Maldonado coming up.
And it was indeed the hit and run. And when you're the runner at first base, you're not trying to get a good jump on the hit and run play. So if the first baseman's playing behind you, it really doesn't matter. The only time you want to hold a runner on is when you're holding him on because you don't want him to steal the base, not run on a hit and run play.
Now Maldonado struck out in the second inning. Again, here's a case of where Roger Craig can go one way or the other. He can play the left-handed batting Pat Sheridan. But he has elected in games 1 and 2 to go with Maldonado basically on the strength of 2 walks that Candy drew in the playoffs. 0-1. 2 very important walks. One, of course, was huge, leading to the 2 runs in the 8th inning in Game 5.
Steinbach fooled once again, and that's how that ball caroms off that mid. That fork ball is really diving out of the strike zone. Terry's doing a fine job back there.
In the dirt, and this one bounces away from Steinbach, who had trouble finding it for the moment. And Mitchell advances to third on the wild pitch.
I think we're getting a pretty good illustration of why Mike Moore led the American League in wild pitches. At 17, 2 more tonight. Just think of Terry Steinbach now with a runner on third. Previously at second, he moved to third on this play. You got to be very tentative. I mean, Moore, at 6'4", is throwing the ball with such a great angle. I'll make a correction. I believe he's second in the, trying to be number 1 in wild pitches tonight.
Well, if you count postseason.
Yeah. He's trying to get the lead.
Maldonado checking his swing, and the count 2-1. Game tied 1-1, 4th inning, 2 out. Kevin Mitchell, the runner at third. Maldonado hit .217 during the regular season. Moore misses inside, ball 3, 3-1. Terry Kennedy is on deck, a left-handed batter.
Another split finger fastball, so you see that Mike Moore has probably more faith in that pitch than anything, even though he's throwing over 90 miles per hour.
3-2.
Hey, one thing, if you're Mike Moore, the way Terry Steinbach is caught tonight, you still got to have confidence that if you do throw one in the dirt, he's going to block it. He's done it on a number of occasions. If you let up a little bit, and I think that's what he did on Thompson with the sacrifice fly earlier, the ball stays up, and Maldonado may crush it.
3-2 to Maldonado is fouled away.
Well, if you're Mike Moore, on the other hand, you can't go away from your strength. If his split finger fastball is his best pitch, you just have to have confidence in Steinbach's blocking ability.
So Maldonado standing in, 3-2, 2 out. Mitchell the runner at third. And it's grounded on a hop to Lansford. And again, the Giants strand a man at third, as they did in the third. 3.5 in the books. It remains 1-1.
Welcome to Lumina Sedan. It has been designed with care for you
and yours.
Listen to the heartbeat.
With rear doors that open wide, plenty of room for the family to enjoy. And even Scotchgard fabric protector comes standard. The family Lumina sedan. When it comes to new ideas, nobody's winning like.
Heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Small business is America's future. A recent report on
the Commerce Department said the demand for durable goods totaled 100.
The Small Business Administration foresees the increase.
Running a growing business is no small job.
We'll be here.
Managing working capital, financing, pension plans, and retirement planning.
That is right.
Today, growing businesses can look to Merrill Lynch for a wide range of services to help them achieve that most elusive goal, success. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
There's something elemental in us all. A basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
You know, baseball cards are real popular these days. For one Ron Say, I can get a whole case of my favorite beer, Miller Lite. I don't want some watered-down minor league version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great.
Hey, Ace, give me 2 cases, you can have this baby.
Dream on.
1 case.
Nope, a 6-pack.
Half a can?
The big league light beer, Miller Lite, where less filling tastes great.
Okay, I'll give you 2 cases, and you don't have to take the card. But that's my final offer.
Must have a couple of mine already.
Whoa.
My spine felt like a lightning rod.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Life goes on tonight.
Rebecca!
Following the World Series.
Jose Canseco will lead off as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Oakland Coliseum, Al Michaels with Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver. Now, when Canseco hits the ball, normally a pull hitter 46 times to left field, 17 to third, and 14 to short. But 30 times he's hit the ball the other way. And those figures, of course, exclude strikeouts. When he hits the ball, he's at 474 when he pulls it. And the count 1-0. When you exclude strikeouts, though, with Canseco, you're excluding a lot of at-bats. Because Jose this season struck out 69 times in half a season, in effect, because he was on the disabled list with a fractured wrist. When he came up as a rookie in '86, he struck out 175 times. Jose takes, and the 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. 3-1. And Jose hits it foul, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Very compact for a guy that's 6'3", over 240 pounds.
3-2 to Canseco is fouled away. Jose, of course, is hitless in this series. We talked about last year. The only hit he had was the Grand Slam homer. He's now 0 for his last 22 in the World Series, but still 9 at-bats shy of the all-time record. Marv Owen, Tiger third baseman, 31 consecutive hitless at-bats in 1934 and 1935.
Marv Owen was the third baseman for the Tigers, into whom Ducky Medwick slid in the 7th game of the 1934 World Series. The Cardinals and the Detroit Tigers, and Medwick had to be removed from the game.
That's fouled away, and it remains 3-2.
For his protection, I might add. The only time that's ever happened in World Series play.
And poor Marv Owen, who never gets a mention, is brought up in this most dubious of contexts.
Almost as much as his namesake, Mickey Owen.
Canseco fouling it at the plate, staying alive, and it's 3-2. He's fouled off 5 in a row. Well, after 3 innings.
Oh, you know what he says? I'm definitely not a scientist. I just throw it up there and take my chances. A lot of different speeds on those fastballs, of course.
Yep. And that's the key. And Canseco draws the walk. So Jose at first base with nobody out, and Dave Parker coming to the plate. Well, our guys Frank and Dan are in Buffalo, no doubt watching this one tonight and preparing for Monday Night Football tomorrow. Rich Stadium. Jim Everett leads the unbeaten Rams 5-0 against the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football, and which should be a good one at 9 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. This is an off day in the World Series tomorrow, and we resume on Tuesday from San Francisco at 8 Eastern time.
What time in your room to watch? Well, it's compulsory viewing, isn't it?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
We're going to tape it.
We're going to tape it.
Roger, every time I look at Roger Craig, I keep thinking of Bob Costas' great line in the playoffs. He looks more like Lyndon Johnson every day. And like the former president, Roger very much a man of the land. In fact, he had retired when Craig was coaching under Sparky Anderson, the world champion Tiger team in '84. He retired, went back to near San Diego to his home.
And Roger realized a bad matchup here, a low ball pitcher to a low ball hitter.
And Parker high balls one to right field and into the corner, and it's a fair ball. Maldonado plays it perfectly, then double clutches. Parker is in at second, but Canseco comes in to score. The fence, and initially Maldonado played the Cara perfectly and then appeared to have trouble finding the cutoff man.
I'll tell you the one bad thing about a home run trot, sometimes you get into it prematurely. Parker could have been out at second base. Right on the line. He could have been out, however, at second base. He had broken into his home run trot prematurely. The double clutch by Maldonado, the double clutch.
You know what?
He could have been out at second base. A close play. He could have been out.
And you know what Maldonado was thinking? He was thinking of coming home. He was looking for the cutoff man lined up.
And he should have.
On the way to the plate, exactly.
Parker's bad base running allows the A's to score their second run. Canseco came all the way around. And again, the bad base running, he really turns it on here. But that's the terrible thing about that home run trot. You're trying to style when you should be running. And that's what Dave was doing. He's turning it on right here, but going to first base, he was in that semi thing that upset Kelly Gruber. I guess Kelly, watching at home, would have liked it if Dave had been thrown out there.
Meanwhile, something's going on in the right field corner as Rich Garcia. That's what's going on. Pheasant under glass.
Pheasant on the grass.
All right, somebody from the Audubon Society call and let us know what that is. With the John 3:16 symbol, it's everywhere. And the umpires don't know what to do with it. Meanwhile, look at this. The yellow line, of course, means fair ball in play. Below the top of the fence. Look at that.
2 inches from hitting the fair pole. They call it a foul pole, but it's in fair territory. There's the double clutch by Maldonado, and still a strong throw. And Uribe makes the tag, but Dutch Rennert says it's late. Very, very close. But it shouldn't have been close, because Parker was styling going to first and then really aired it out going from first to second. Almost too late.
Meanwhile, the bird has been removed. Play can resume. The score is 2-1 Oakland. Parker is at second base, and Dave Henderson at the plate. One and oh the count.
Another look at Parker's late slide, but apparently early enough to have Dutch Rennert call him safe. He's right there.
2-0 on Henderson.
Reuschel with 2 walks. They both scored. Henderson in the first, and Fransicso here in the fourth.
And that's a pattern that the A's have exhibited throughout postseason.
Last night, Dave Henderson right here started off the second inning. The leadoff walk off Garrelts. Scored the first run. As you say so many times, Tim, it's not really the walks, it's what happens afterwards.
3-1 to count.
And you get a great matchup. You talked about a low ball pitcher, Parker to Reuschel, but also Parker faced Reuschel in the National League when he was the 2-time batting champion, 78, 7, and 78.
Kelly Downs gets up in the bullpen as Henderson draws a walk. The runners at first and second. Downs, the long man tonight. The A's with a 2-1 lead, and runners at first and second, and nobody out. And Mark McGwire coming to the plate. McGwire rarely called on to sacrifice if Tony La Russa would be thinking that way. He did not have a sacrifice this season, and he swings away and fouls it away, and the count is 0-1. He had no sacrifices, but he hit into 23 double plays. The A's, the one bugaboo for them this season, they hit into a lot of double plays. In fact, they led the league with 163. Breaking pitch for a strike, and the count is 0-2.
A lot of right-handed hitters, and of course Reuschel, early in the year, you know, he was a guy that would throw a lot of double plays, a lot of sinkers. Only gave up 9 home runs in his first 165-plus innings. 9 home runs in September in his last 40 innings, so that groin injury really bothered him.
Swing, down he goes. Big strikeout for Rick Reuschel. The A's with runners at first and second and 1 out, and now we go to Terry Steinbach.
Quality breaking ball by Reuschel out of the strike zone, and McGwire goes too far. Second strikeout for Rick Reuschel.
Steinbach fly to left in the second inning. Inside, ball 1, 1-0.
You talk about your scouting reports. Tony La Russa, when we had a chance to talk to him before the game, said, I feel that Steinbach's going to hit a home run off Reuschel. Again, you talk about matchups, low ball pitcher, low ball hitter. Just missed one the first time up.
2-0.
That's quite a statement considering Terry only hit 7 this year.
Was very prescient. God. Oakland. A 3-run homer for Steinbach. The batter is Tony Phillips. And all I want to know is what numbers is La Russa picking in the lottery?
He's not even smiling. Well, you become so dangerous when you're ahead in the count. 2-0 to Steinbach, 1-0 to Dave Parker.
To Maldonado and right for the second down. 2 down.
You know, you talk about, I think everybody, when they talked about what's going to take the Giants to beat the A's, they said they're going to have to pitch better. And you go back to the National League Championship Series, both the Cubs and the Giants, the reason there were so many runs scored was a lot of not only quality hitters, but the counts. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. Great hitter counts. I mean, you got to give Steinbach credit because he had to hit it. But that's what you want to go up to home plate. You can look for your pitch. He did. He got it. He drilled it.
Walt Weiss, the 7th man to hit in the inning. And Reuschel has really hurt himself tonight. He has walked 3, and each time the man has scored. And it's 5-1. 1-2 the count. Well, last night, LaRussa says he wants to get an extra left-handed bat in the lineup, and in effect plays a hunch with Walt Weiss, and he hits a home run. And tonight, thinking that Steinbach could homer off Reuschel, and that's exactly what happens. As Weiss skies to left, and the inning is over. But it's 5-1 after 4, and back we come after a word from our ABC station.
Friday's favorite funny guys are held hostage. He has 20 sticks of dynamite strapped to his chest.
They're not purely decorative.
Perfect strangers. Could you tape his mouth? This is a hot Just the 10 of Us all Friday.
I've got a craving. It'd be so nice to get a piece of pizza, a hot and juicy slice. I got those gotta have a pizza blues.
Looking for a slice at a great price? Get new piece of pizza at AM/PM Mini Markets. Pepperoni or Supreme Combo, just 89 cents.
Come on, baby, to the right address. Fill up at AM/PM, and you'll fill up for less.
Werewolf, this is Iron Horse. I've got a bogey at 2 o'clock. Let's get him, Iron Horse. Pick him up, Werewolf. I've lost him in the sun. He's coming around my tail. Just bogeys all over me. I've got trouble, Iron Horse. I got him, Werewolf. He's broken off. Look at him run.
Test drive a pilot at your Honda Pilot dealer.
I think we got trouble, Iron Horse.
Know what your health plan covers?
No.
Yes.
Big things, little things?
Little things.
How about pregnancy?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 So have you had the usual childhood diseases?
Yeah.
Chicken pox?
Uh-huh.
Mumps?
Yes.
Gosh, what's left?
Growing up.
Pacific Care, proud to be a sponsor of the LA Marathon.
South Africa releases 8 anti-apartheid activists who've been jailed for more than 20 years. Complete details coming up on Eyewitness News tonight at 11 o'clock.
When it comes to sports, your team is here on Channel 7.
Terry Steinbach facing Rick Reuschel in the bottom of the 4th inning and leaving no doubt. Two-0 pitch. Crowd erupting. Dave Parker knows it's gone as he trots home, and it's 5-1. 5th inning now, and Terry Kennedy to start things for the Giants. And a count, 1 ball and no strikes. Kennedy, Uribe, and Butler. Terry singled in the 3rd inning. One and one to count. The Oakland Coliseum like a sparkling jewel in that setting. And across the bay we go on Tuesday for Game 3. Kennedy lifts it in the air, foul back of 3rd. And Lansford runs out of room. And the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That's hard to do in this ballpark.
Yeah.
You run and run and run. 7 foul balls last night.
Foul outs.
Foul outs, yeah.
Game 3 Tuesday, and the matchup, Bob Welch going to the mound for Oakland, and Don Robinson pitching for San Francisco at 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific. 1-2 the count. Two and two.
Interesting matchup too. Welch, who apparently had a tired arm, can use the 6 or 7 days off he's had. Don Robinson, coming off a knee ligament problem, threw very well in a simulated game, so he should be ready.
Kennedy got on strikes. So Mike Moore, working on 10 days rest, has struck out 5, 1 out in the 5th inning. And Jose Uribe is the batter. Well, starting pitchers who have been 40 or older in the World Series. Jack Quinn back in 1929 was 46. Grover Alexander. Grover Cleveland Alexander. Reuschel at age 40. Fitzsimmons and Bobo Newsom in 47. And none of them has won a game. Jose Uribe, it's a little soft pop up to his opposite number, Weiss. And that's out number 2. Moore has set down 5 in a row, and it will bring up Brett Butler.
Those pitchers, by the way, that you just saw were all starting pitchers. Dolph Luque won in relief as a 40-year-old back in 1933. Final game of the World Series. There's Dave Dravecky with his left arm in a cast. Had his left arm broken for the 2nd time during the celebration of the San Francisco Giants when they beat the Cubs. Still plans on pitching in 1990.
Took that in stride after his remarkable comeback from cancer surgery this year. Most heartwarming story in baseball in all of 1989. Came back, beat Cincinnati at Candlestick Park, got back into the rotation, and then of course the break in Montreal in his subsequent start. 2-0 the count. Speaking of Dravecky in postseason play for a career, that's all time, and you can see Babe Ruth is 4th on the list. There it is again, minimum 25 innings. Can you believe it? Dravecky and Ken Daly of the Cardinals 2nd, Harry the Cat Burkeen, Ruth, Sherry Smith, and Sandy Koufax. Boy, that is an odd sixum. Butler tries to bunt his way on, and the count is 3-2.
A lot of left-handers in that group. Certainly wasn't odd for that last guy, Sandy Koufax.
Oh no.
Even in the 66 game that I happened to pitch, in fact, it was his last game, he pitched real well. Willie Davis just had a bad afternoon. A couple of drop fly balls and a throwing error. That was your first start in the World Series and his last start in baseball as he retired after the 1966 season. I believe he was 32 years old. I think he'd come off a year where he was 25-7 with a 1.70 ERA. Think about it. He led the National League 5 years in a row in earned run average, with the lowest earned run average from 62 through 66. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, exactly.
Youngest member of the Hall of Fame, Sandy Koufax.
And Butler draws the walk. So that's the 2nd walk issued by Mike Moore in both instances. It's been Butler, and Thompson is the batter. And by the way, we asked for help from the Audubon Society, and the word has come to us that that bird on the field was a guinea hen, according to our sources, whomever they may be. Okay. Thompson at the plate. 0-1 the count.
Well, do they run, Tim? We know the A's will run. Henderson with his season high in a game they lost 14-6. He stole 5 bases. What do you think with Butler? I think you have to give Thompson a chance to hit right here. I mean, a 2-run homer puts you back in the ball game.
But they run him. The pitch is low. Steinbach's throw. No! Butler gets in there. So that's his 2nd steal of the night. He had 31 during the regular season.
Good jump by Brett Butler. Had the throw been on the first base side of the bag, he's out. And when you're trailing by 4 runs in the middle innings, that's not a good play. But the throw on the third base side, and Phillips has to come back too far, and the tag is late. Butler's in there.
1-2 the count.
Not good acting coming back that second time by Tony Phillips. I think it gave Dutch Renner the idea that he missed him the first time. Took a swipe. Now, if he just puts his glove up in the air like Olay, probably would have called him out. It looked like he was going to do that. And then he goes back and tags him. Yeah, it looked like he kind of waved the glove over the leg and tried to come back to make the tag. So, in effect, his tag was too high because he was trying to tag Butler blindly. He had to make the catch first and then come back. Butler staying down the straight-in slide. He was in there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And down goes Thompson. And that's 6 strikeouts for Moore. At the end of 4 1/2, 5-1 A's.
The long-term outlook holds the prospect of a leveling off, according to one.
The downward trend in savings by U.S. families continues to be a
Stocks
concern
closed sharply higher today in heavy trading. Analysts say uncertainty in the bond markets due to the recent volatility.
Investments, savings, insurance. Planning for your family's future requires finding the right balance. That's why so many people put their trust in Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
Ah, kids, you gotta love them.
Listen.
Kids are the reason Chevrolet has Scotch Guard fabric protector on their seats and doors. Standard. Scotch Guard. You need it? Only Chevy has it. And in the fight against stains, nobody's winning like
The heartbeat of America. That's today, Chevrolet.
The challenge was to build a leader. The result, anti-lock brakes with traction control. Innovations in fluid technology. Rayonier pulp used for the broadest line of products, from glasses to rayon. And better insurance services for businesses, from the Hartford. The challenge was to build our 9 businesses into leaders. Today, we are leaders. ITT.
The product. The proving grounds. The results. STP gas treatment is the edge.
The painting, Renoir. The vase, Ming. And the wine, Chateau Marmoset.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Presenting a brief profile of the foremost television journalists in America today. We're ABC News, America's choice.
Plenty of action in the last couple of innings for second base umpire Dutch Renner.
Boy, I'll say he's had a busy inning. This play with Dave Parker on the double to drive in the go-ahead run. Parker barely safe at second. And in the top half of the 5th, Brett Butler going in. Watch Tony Phillips go past the leg of Butler and get him coming back, but it's too late. An excellent call by Dutch Renner.
Not according to Carney Lansford. There was his reaction to the safe side at second. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Ricky Henderson is the batter.
Dutch really on top of that play, though. He saw the glove go past the leg of Butler, and then by the time Phillips recovered to come back and make the tag, it was too late. Good call by Dutch.
1-1 the count.
Game of inches.
1-1 pitch, a ground ball, base hit into left field. So Henderson, a perfect night. He is 2 for 2 plus a walk. He has stolen a base and scored a run. He is now 4 for 7 in the World Series, and Carney Lansford is the batter.
And if you're wondering why Reuschel's still on the mound, I think that Roger Craig says, hey, you know, Don Robinson, he did throw well in a simulated game as they get somebody up in the bullpen. But let's try to Reuschel, who's a veteran in his 17th year. Give us a couple more innings if he can with the DH, and maybe I may have to use Kelly Downs on Tuesday.
Kelly Downs is up in the bullpen again for the second time. He was up last night as well. Henderson to his lead at first, and Ricky Bluff's going, and the pitch is a strike. 0-1 to count. Ricky chasing Davey Lopes' postseason mark. Pitch out, nothing happening. 1-1. All right, do you pitch out again?
See, being behind by 4 runs, that negates a lot of pitch outs. Because if you pitch out, get your pitcher behind, end up walking a hitter, they could put the game away.
They pitch out again.
And he's not running.
Now, if you're Henderson, you got to figure there's no way they're going to pitch out. But you never know with Craig.
Right, and if you're Tony La Russa, you don't have to hit and run because you got the world's best stealer down at first base. I'll let Lansford swing if he wants to, if he gets a strike.
There goes Ricky, and it's fouled away, and the count 2-2. Well, you could have made book on that one. 2 pitch outs in a row. The count is 2-1. Prime pitch to run on. And it's fouled back by Lansford, 2-2.
Roger Craig does not call pitches, but he will call pitch outs. I had a chance to talk to Bob Melvin, who caught with the Orioles this year, did a nice job. He said he's got 6 different signs. They vary from game to game. It's different situations, what he wants his pitcher and catchers to do.
And ball 3. 3-2 the count. So nobody out. You would figure that Henderson will be running at first base.
You don't bet the house on it, you bet the whole neighborhood.
Yep. Well, the last time we did that, we were in Hawk. He goes, the pitch is high, and runners are at first and second with nobody out.
Think about that walk. 2 pitch outs, got Reuschel in the hole, and now Roger Craig's going to make the move. But I mean, a case could be made that Roger, with the 2 pitch outs, partially responsible for walking Lansford, and that's the problem. He's in a position to put it away.
Kelly Downs will be coming out of the bullpen to face Canseco. Nobody out in the 5th inning. 5-1 A's.
Can't stand this heat. Do you have something cold, like a beer?
Clean, fresh taste of Bud Light for those who don't take their light beer lightly. Sorry.
Exotic alloys, complex designs. Today's automobile engines are marvels of power and efficiency. But at a price. They generate more of the damaging filth called sludge, which can squeeze the life out of your engine. Today, what's required is a motor oil specifically formulated to virtually eliminate sludge. Haviland's superior grade.
Today, the president sent Congress a $441 billion education.
Leading educators had expressed concern about the cost of a college education. Concern about long-term inflationary trends was debated today
The
by...
latest university to raise tuition for the upcoming year has...
Planning, investing, results. At Merrill Lynch, we're helping parents find ways to finance their children's education. Today, millions of dollars are at work to give the next generation a mind of its own. Merrill Lynch, a tradition of trust.
Who's pulling away in advanced 4x4 technology? Chevy S10 Blazer or Ford Bronco 2. Both can get you through the mud. But when you shift from 4-wheel drive high to 2-wheel drive, Chevy with InstaTrack never asks you to back up, while Ford says you should stop and back up 10 feet for reduced wear on their front drive system. Chevy S10 Blazer is #1, clean and simple. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Mr. Goodwrench. Mr. Goodwrench knows it's not just a car, it's your freedom.
Full moon over Oakland as Kelly Downs comes in the pitch for the Giants. The inside pitch on him from Tony Gwynn.
Kelly Downs is a 4-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider, split finger, and change. He's got good movement on all 4 pitches, but the key is keeping the ball down in the strike zone. He holds runners on well, but he can be rattled. A couple cheap hits, a bad call by an umpire, and he'll lose his composure. And he gives away his changeup. He slows down his arm action, or he slows down his delivery to the plate.
And with the runners going on a check swing, Canseco fouls it away, and the count is 0-1. So La Russa immediately sends the runners on Downs' first pitch, and Canseco can't get out of the way of it.
Tell you, great arm. Missed about 3.5 months with capsulitis, which is an inflammation of the right capsule of the shoulder. A lot of people felt this kid had a chance to win the Cy Young Award this year. Somewhat premature, but a great slider. Tony Gwynn told you about the changeup. He does slow up his arm, but a 90-plus fastball, and he can make good pitches.
And he did an excellent job in the playoffs as Canseco commits, and it's a strike, and the count 0-2. He was really a very unsung hero in the series with the Cubs.
Again, arm problems throughout the year. A couple of times out on rehab. Good live arm. The Giants relievers have done a good job. Hammaker last night along with Lacasse.
And Canseco gone on strikes. So it's been no way Jose in the World Series, but the A's still win last night 5-0 and lead here 5-1.
And also coming from South Texas, Laredo, sidearm. Jose totally fooled. What now, 0 for 24 over the last 2 World Series?
For his last 23.
Sorry, I
threw a walk tonight, and again the record 31. Downs now facing the left-hand batting Parker, who fouls it away, and the count is 0-1.
Playing with so much confidence, he's doing almost whatever he wants to do. 2 for 2, 4 for 7 in the series.
Off speed inside, 1-1.
Been on base 3 times tonight, 1 stolen base. And we were talking during the commercial, Jim, and as you pointed out, the reason probably that Carney Lansford drew that walk was because of Ricky Henderson. Oh, you don't have to pitch out if he's not on. I mean, you can just get rid of the ball quickly, as Reuschel can do. You can let your catcher make a good throw, but with Ricky, you got to take a chance. And what a pitch out does, if you really don't watch a lot of baseball, you try to have the same windup, but what you do is you give the catcher a little bit better pitch to handle to throw, or at least attempt to throw a runner out at second base.
2-1 on Parker.
Like Roger Craig talking about our colleague Joe Morgan, he said he was the best guy that he's ever seen in coaching or managing of recognizing when a pitcher was going to pitch out. And he would just go back to first base, he'd waste a pitch, and he'd be smiling.
Roger also said that Joe Morgan was the best base runner that he's ever seen. No argument here.
All I know is I faced him once in the All-Star game and he homered.
You didn't have to worry about
it. I even talked to him in the morning.
Meanwhile, Henderson not only drawing Downs' attention, but Uribe as well. Jose in back of him at second, keeping him as close to the bag as possible. And it's in the dirt. Ball 3-1.
You wonder why Dave Parker's pumped up. Number one, he had a great year. As Terry Kennedy will go out and talk to Kelly Downs. Remember what Tony Gwynn said about being rattled. It's not a rattled situation here, but it is a situation where you trail by 4 runs. You got a guy that had a terrific year. He's already hit 3 postseason home runs. And why Dave's so happy is that he's not going to play unless he pinch hits in games 3, 4, or 5 when they don't have the DH, if there is game 5.
3-1 to count. Little looper foul. Parker seeking another World Championship ring, 10 years apart. Part of the Pirates in 1979 that Jim Palmer, of course, remembers all too well, coming from a 3-1 deficit. The We Are Family group. Henderson away to his lead, and you can see Uribe in behind him, which is close to where he wants to play Parker anyway. As the runners go, Parker swings and misses, and it's a double play as Williams tags Henderson at third. A strikeout and 2-5, and that's that for the A's in the 5th.
IBM presents You Make the Call. With a runner on second, a pitcher is called for a balk. His pitch then gets away from the catcher. The runner rounds third and is caught off base by the throw. Is he out? You make the call.
You wish your data were better directed, that all your departments were interconnected. How are you gonna do it? Well, you're gonna PS to it with the IBM PS2. You want to network up, network down, exchange information with other towns. When you're all linked up, you can share ideas from bottom to top. How are you gonna do it? I'll tell you. You're gonna PS to it. The solution is IBM.
When a balk is called but the ball is pitched, it's up to the team at bat to accept it or not. Rounding the base puts the runner at his own risk. If you said he's out, you made the right call.
It's not just a car, it's your freedom.
You know, most people don't know when to start checking their shocks.
One thing to watch out for, they'll wear out faster if you carry heavy loads or drive on bad roads.
And it isn't just a matter of comfort. Bad shocks can mean bad handling, too.
These GM Goodwrench shocks come with a warranty.
The warranty is good for as long as you own your GM car or truck.
See Mr. Goodwrench wherever you see these signs.
We're giving the competition a run for their money on price, too.
Doctor, flying in a multiple trauma from Woodlake.
What are the injuries? I need an EKG, current and basic.
It's been done at Woodlake.
I don't need them there. I need them here.
In the time it takes to transfer a patient, this doctor is able to prepare a treatment. Because now the network of U.S. Sprint can fax the sharpest graphics in the world in only 6 seconds.
Let's do it!
100% digital fiber optic fax. Only from U.S. Sprint.
I'm Frank Gifford. Join us Monday when the Los Angeles Rams head into Buffalo to take on the Bills as we continue the 20th anniversary season of ABC's Monday Night Football.
On the subject of pitchers in their 40s, it's Jim Palmer's birthday. We're not going to tell you how old he is, but they have begun to airbrush the varicose veins out of his jockey shorts pads. Happy birthday, partner.
Well, thank you. And Timmy tomorrow on our off day.
That's right. Yeah,
we won't tell you how old he is either.
I will. I'll be 48 tomorrow.
Ooh.
Big deal.
It's a tremendous deal.
Sixth inning, and they're celebrating in Oakland because the A's winning last night 5-0 and leading here 5-1. Trying to go up 2 games to love in the World Series with Clark and Mitchell and Williams facing Mike Moore. Short hop by McGuire. And 1 down here in the 6th inning, and Kevin Mitchell coming up.
Take a look at the swing and miss by Dave Parker on the 3-2 pitch. A very close play at third base. A high throw by Terry Kennedy, but a quick tag by Matt Williams to just nail Ricky Henderson. Watch this quick tag. Very close. Ricky questioning Al Clark, but he was out.
Kevin Mitchell at the plate, and the count 1-0. Well, LaRussa could not have written a better script for this one tonight. He's got a 4-run lead. Among other things, what he would like to do tonight is give Eckersley a little work. Dennis, his bullpen ace, remember, has not pitched since last Sunday. An inordinately long period of time for a reliever, and so optimally what would happen is Moore would go maybe 7, and he could get an inning in for whoever, Burns or Nelson, whoever he'd like, and then finish up with Eckersley.
Also a great story we'll get to about Eckersley. Talking about in the simulated game on Thursday, he said Parker got a base. I guess Canseco got a base hit, and Parker, he wanted to face one more batter, and he, I guess, overly zealous, threw a couple, I guess, 9 more pitches. His arm was stiff, and that's why he did not use him last night, something we questioned. So very important for the A's, with Eckersley being their ace, to get him an inning with an off day tomorrow.
You saw the bullpen. It's not Eck time yet. It's only the 6th inning. He's back in the clubhouse.
Yeah, what they'd like is Mike Moore, who's 10-4 with only a little over 2 runs here at Oakland. Won 19 games, but pitched much better here at the Coliseum.
Shallow right center. Phillips goes out. Here comes Canseco. And 2 down. A reminder, coming up next Sunday, international sports action on ABC, the McDonald's Basketball Open. The Denver Nuggets are over in Rome. And then it's back to the United States. Live coverage of the Budweiser International Horse Race from Maryland. Beginning at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Hoops and horses. Next Sunday here on ABC. 2 down. Matt Williams, who is 0 for 6 in the series thus far and has fanned 4 times. One and 1 account. They'll be over in Candlestick Park on Tuesday. The Giants seeking a new stadium, and we'll get into that issue when we cross the bay. Proposition on the ballot in San Francisco. The voters will determine on the 7th of November the fate of a new ballpark, and maybe the fate of the Giants in San Francisco as well. McGuire in fair ground, puts it away, and another easy inning for Moore. Still 5-1 A's after 5 1/2, and back we come after a word from our ABC stations.
Monday.
Are you ready for the football?
The undefeated Los Angeles Rams tackle the Buffalo Bills on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football.
Then on Bangkok's black market, everything has a price.
You come looking for more trouble? Not really. You're gonna die, pal.
MacGyver.
Good afternoon, Dad.
Keep your hands off the fender.
Did you read Chevron Supreme has high octane and Tecroline?
Is that right?
Maybe I could go fill it up.
Just to the gas station.
For even better performance, new Chevron Supreme has 25% more Tecroline. No gasoline's better.
3 hours? Gee, Dad, you didn't want me to mix the old gas with the new gas, did you?
Chevron, we're with you all the way. The University of Missouri had a communication problem. How to bring together 4 different campuses and hundreds of different departments. So GTE recommended their Centranet system, which not only gave the university greater capabilities, but allowed 75,000 people to communicate a lot better. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions. Call us, and everything will fall into place.
There are 100 reasons to own a Mercedes-Benz. For John and me, it keeps coming down to just 2.
As anxious investors await the opening of the U.S. financial markets, we'll have the latest from the Tokyo Stock Exchange coming up tonight at 11 on Eyewitness News. We'll see you then.
When it comes to sports, your team is here on Channel 7.
Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver in Oakland, where we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Dave Henderson, Mark McGuire, and Terry Steinbach facing Kelly Downs. Tony La Russa, several years with the White Sox. Roland Heeman, now with Baltimore, gave him his big break, hired him. Then Heeman got fired. And in the year in which Ken Hawk Harrelson was the general manager, La Russa got fired as it's grounded by the mound, fielded by Uribe. And Henderson gone, so 1 out in the 6th inning. So Harrelson was there for a year. La Russa gets fired in midseason of '86, not out of work very long. Picked up by the Oakland A's, and of course, as it turns out, the White Sox hit absolute rock bottom, and the A's almost at the very, very top. Norm Sherry on the phone to the bullpen. Mark McGuire at the plate, and the count 0-1.
And like so many good managers that manage their good ball clubs, again, the A's winning 104 last year, 99 this year, he sometimes doesn't get as much credit as he deserves, but he did a marvelous job. You talked about it last night, Al, with all the injuries. Canseco being out 88 games, Eckersley out for about 45, Weiss out for about just a half a season.
Craig Leffridge will start to throw in the bullpen. Well, manager of the year, and we've talked about this on many broadcasts in the past, usually goes to the manager whose team exceeds expectations by the most, as McGuire rips one into the corner. Mitchell plays it on the warning track, and Mark pulls in at second with a double and his 4th hit of the World Series.
Hey, it's a funny thing when you get used to the semantics of baseball. You just said he pulled into second. You rarely say a hitter pulls into third with a triple. Rarely. For the fact of the matter is, a double's a concession hit. Doubles are conceded. Triples are engineered. Well, the guy at second isn't going to engineer too many triples. No, that's right. Not too many guys are. No. I like triples. And a lot of people think you're the greatest, one of the greatest plays in baseball. It's one of the most exciting hits in the game. Triples.
And to emphasize the point you're making, you very rarely would see a stand-up triple.
Yeah, very rarely.
Announcers are always saying there's a stand-up double, but
right.
A lot of times you'll say that, but very rarely a stand-up triple.
Yeah, you pull into second, you slide into third.
Or dive in. One and one to count. I know why you love triples. It just dawned on me as it's grounded foul. Yes. I mean, of all things,
that was no cheap feed.
Tim McCarver, comma, a catcher who ran well, comma, had 3 World Series triples.
Yeah, I mean, that was, yeah, but that was no cheap feed or anything like that. Yes, it was. Really tacky. You know why? Because we got that into the '87 World Series. We also got it into the '85 World Series. Somehow we get it. And what does running well mean? And you were fast?
McCarver will work it into the '90 World Series as well.
He probably will.
1-2 pitch is high, 2-2.
Yeah, because it's obvious he doesn't need us.
But we copyrighted it.
Exactly.
2-2 on Steinbach. Down low and the count full. 3-2. Well, that man wants to go home, and so does that lady. That's Connie Lurie next to Al Rosen and Bob Lurie and Bob Kennedy, the Giants Brain Trust, and they want to pay that dollar toll on the Bay Bridge and get back home and see what happens at Candlestick Park in Game 3 on Tuesday. Williams backs up, checks the runner, throws him out. So Steinbach taken care of. 2 down. Tony Phillips coming up. And just to finish the point, we started with La Russa before Tony and the prospects of being manager of the year. It normally goes to the manager whose team exceeds expectations by the most. La Russa was pretty much expected to win with his team. But you look at Frank Robinson and the miracle job he did at Baltimore. Cito Gaston taking over for Jimmy Williams. Don't forget Doug Rader. Everybody overlooks that. The wonderful job he did with the Angels. John Wathan in Kansas City. I mean, La Russa could finish 5th in the balloting. And yet win the World Series on his way. As it's hopped in the air to shallow left field. Kevin Mitchell is there. And that's that for Phillips and Oakland in the 6th. To the 7th we go in Game 2 at the Coliseum. 5-1 Athletics.
Chevy S10 4-wheel drive pickups take on the 4-wheel drive Ford Ranger. Look, to shift from 4-wheel drive high to 2-wheel drive, Ford says you should stop and back up 10 feet for reduced wear on the front drive system. While Chevy with InstaTrack never asks you to back up, so you can go forward with Chevy or backward with Ford. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet.
You can imagine this tower was 300 feet tall. And when it hit his house, and then you see how it flattened the metal. So we got a real good whip out of it.
Hurricane Hugo surprised many people. Allstate's catastrophe team was ready.
With Allstate coming and the adjuster coming as quickly as he did, I think you need them. I really think you need to have a good insurance company like Allstate. Allstate came through when they had to. And I'm glad we have it.
Contact first made news in 1961. In 1976, the news was 2 Sudafed. Today, there's new Co-Advil. Co-Advil has what no other cold product has. The pain reliever in Advil plus a proven decongestant. A combination never available before in just 1 tablet. Co-Advil is so effective it can relieve nasal congestion, sinus pressure, and the aches and pains of your cold, all without drowsiness. Read label before using. New Co-Advil. Advanced formula for cold and sinus relief.
In '87, it was the Twins. In '88, it was the Dodgers. Who will take home the prize in '89? Whoever it is, you can capture all the excitement again and again with the official 1989 World Series home video from CBS Fox Video Sports. To order your official video, call 1-800-4ABC-VCR. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR. Just $19.98 plus $3 each for shipping and handling. The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Hi, I'm Roger Craig, manager of the San Francisco Giants, and I have a lot of TV programs that I like, but I like all Westerns. The Young Riders right now is one of my favorites.
Thursdays.
7th inning at the Oakland Coliseum. 5-1, the Athletics on top. How about a World Series memory? Last time the steal of home took place, Game 7, 1964. Narrate, sir.
Mike Shannon was the runner at first. A big deal. I happened to score on the tail end of a double steal.
So you did run well.
Yeah.
Not to mention, with a lot of speed.
Elston Howard, the late Elston Howard, was the catcher. Bobby Richardson at second base. And that was the last pennant that the Yankees won until 1976. Long dry spell for the Pinstripes.
And a long dry spell for the Pinstripes right now. They haven't won a pennant since 1981. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. on Ernest Riles, leading off in the 7th inning. Riles, Maldonado, and Kennedy. To center field, but Dave Henderson has room. 1 away. Giants last night limited to 5 hits, and tonight only 3, and all of them have been singles. A's got a run in the 1st. Giants tied it in the 3rd, and then Oakland erupted for 4 in the 4th. 5-1, and Candy Maldonado comes to the plate.
Of the 8 hits the Giants have had in the 2 games, the only extra base hit, Will Clark, in the 6th inning last night with 2 out and nobody on. Formidable performances by Dave Stewart and Mike Moore.
And it doesn't get a lot easier. The A's were favored basically on the strength of great pitching. Stewart last night, Moore tonight. Now you come back with Bob Welch. Then in game 4 you go to Storm Davis. The Giants, meanwhile, have Don Robinson pitching on Tuesday with a knee brace, and then on Wednesday, well, Mike Lacoste penciled in at the moment. Could be Scott Garrelts. Maldonado grounds it to 3rd, and Carney Lansford throws Candy out. 2 down. Moore has retired 6 in a row. 2 down, and Terry Kennedy is the batter. In college football next Saturday here on ABC, regional action. You'll see either Michigan against Iowa or UCLA taking on Oregon State, 3:30 Eastern and 12:30 Pacific next Saturday. Terry Kennedy. 0-1 to count.
Goes back to something you talked about last night, Tim. In the opening, you talked that you did not think that the Giants had somebody that was as good as Orel Hershiser, a stopper that could come in and over the course of a World Series stop the A's and dominate. Yeah, it's been the case.
0-2 on Kennedy.
But tonight, once you get past Mitchell, anybody with a base hit, looking at him right here, Kennedy, and that, as you said, was a single.
Little pop-up out of play. No, once you get past Mitchell, when you take a look at the bottom 5 in the Giants order, they are 1 for 13 tonight.
Last night they were 0 for 15, and then Uribe with a bouncer back to Stewart and went off his glove for a base hit. So not a lot of action for the bottom portion of the lineup.
Yeah, actually going back over the scorecard last night, they were the bottom 5 was 1 for 17, and so 2 for 30 in the 2 games.
You compare that with the bottom 3 of the Oakland A's. Terry Steinbach with a 3-run homer tonight. Walt Weiss batting 9th, a solo homer last night. Tony Phillips, an RBI, a run scored in last night's ball game.
And Kennedy gone, and they're 2 for 31, the bottom 5, as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Which compact van can make the grade over these strips of simulated ice? Chevy Astro, Dodge Caravan, or Ford Aerostar? At 15% grade, the rear-drive Ford loses traction. At 20%, the front-wheel drive Dodge loses traction. But even at 25% Chevy Astro, all-wheel drive makes the grade and leaves yesterday's vans just spinning their wheels. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your footlight shining for everyone to see.
Every day, more and more people are getting together over an ice-cold Bud Light.
Well, you can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a light. Just keep your Bud Light shining. It's just a light. Shine on. Everything else is just...
Gibraltar has been under British rule for over 250 years. They even have bobbies. Yet when things get hot, they get their British cool from America. Old
Spice deodorant. The only deodorant in the world with the cool, fresh scent of Old Spice. But more importantly, Old Spice has more odor-fighting ingredients than even the newest men's deodorant. Old Spice Men's Grooming. #1 in America. #1 in the world.
Here's a great idea. This Halloween, greet the monsters at your door with Happy Halloween certificates from McDonald's. They're 10 for $1. The neighborhood gang can turn them in for free McDonald's dessert treats like cones and sample-sized sundaes. You can count on a safe Halloween with Happy Halloween certificates from McDonald's. Now that's using your head.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Merrill Lynch, a financial firm built on a tradition of trust.
Craig Lefferts coming in to pitch for the Giants as the A's come to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. Lefferts with the Padres in 1984 appeared in the World Series, is noted for this. We put a clock on him, regular speed replay. Lefferts coming to the mound. And a bronze medal performance, 9.3.
I guess that's what they mean when they say he can really run it up there.
Oh, yeah. Walt Weiss takes outside. He started doing that. He told me the other day at the University of Arizona. His coach there, the former Major League infielder Jerry Kindle. And Kindle said, look, I want all of you guys to run to your positions and run back. And he came walking into the dugout one day, and Kindle said, what are you doing? He said, I'm a pitcher. Kindle said, I don't care. And that's when it started and hasn't stopped.
A marvelous year for Craig. You see those 20 saves. That's a career high. 19 out of his first 20 appearances resulted in a save. Did the job before they made the trade for Bedrosian. Coming over from Philadelphia, so he was their savior early on with Mike Lacoste, who saved some games from the right-hand side.
And Weiss gone on strikes,
and that's his best pitch. Not only a backdoor slider as that one, a backdoor slider breaks late around the outside corner, trying to nip the outside part of the plate, but he also has a hard slider that he throws in on right-handers. Ball coming back. Also a screwball that goes away and a good fastball. Did have some shoulder problems.
Ricky Henderson coming to the plate. We were mentioning that we wouldn't be surprised to see Eckersley getting in an inning of work tonight since he hasn't pitched in a week. As far as the Giants are concerned, the same thing would apply to Steve Bedrosian, who hasn't pitched since Monday. And especially since tomorrow is an off day. And there is Eck, who is now in the bullpen next to Gene Nelson. He has not pitched since the pennant-clinching game a week ago, and Bedrosian is down in the Giants bullpen. That's the funny thing about postseason. It would never happen in the regular season, where you go a week without getting in some sort of work. But that's what happens when you have that many days off.
Excuse me, Lefferts with some shoulder problems. Same with Eckersley with the tightness, and Bedrosian apparently had some soreness in his right shoulder.
That's hit fair by third, down into the corner, and it dies in the bullpen. It is still in play, and Henderson moves into third. The umpire, Eric Gregg, giving the hands down signal, meaning still in play. And I think Kevin Mitchell went over there and thought that somebody had touched it and it was going to be a ground rule double, and it was anything but. And so Gregg, with 6 umpires in the World Series, working the left field line, kept putting his palms down. Henderson had hesitated, rounding second. He had thought for the moment that maybe the ball was out of play, but once again, Gregg put the arms down, and Ricky kept on going to third.
It's one of those stand-up triples you were talking about.
Yeah, right. That's right. Sure. Happen all the time.
This ball hits the line, I believe. Yep, right on the chalk. Call fair by Al Clark. And Mitchell going over. The ball bouncing around. The fan did not touch the ball, but technically that should be a ground rule double. I think that ball's under the bench in the bullpen.
But
why wouldn't Roger Craig come out and say something? Unless Unless the ground rules specify that a ball under the bullpen bench is in play.
Well, but the A's are there. I mean, what is Mitchell supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Go in between legs?
Exactly.
So the infield plays in. Lansford at the plate. And the pitch is a strike, and the count 0-1.
You know, at this point in a 5-1 game, that doesn't seem to mean a whole lot. But if they come back here for game 6 or 7, that's got to be clarified to some degree. Very unfair for the Giants.
Yep.
Or anybody that actually hits the ball down there, if you're the defensive team.
Fouled away, and the count 0-2. Another look right now. Well, it's clearly fair. The question is Mitchell unimpeded in his effort to come up with the ball once it goes underneath the bench in the bullpen?
A fan reached for it first. He didn't touch it. Now watch the ball squirt under the bench. And the A's down there.
Well, now Mitchell comes over, and he thinks it's out of play.
Exactly. And on page 10, it says ball remaining on or under bench, 2 bases. That's page 10 of the Oakland Press Guide. That is correct.
Off the glove of Lefferts, but holding at third is Henderson as Thompson throws Lansford out on a 1-4-3. 2 down.
Well, it says the ball going under the bench and coming back onto the playing field, and it is in play.
Well, Greg must have figured it didn't go under the bench. It appears to start to go under the bench when you look at it initially. Here's the replay, of course, on the last play. But then it winds up actually next to the bench. Again, Henderson holding at third. And there are 2 down. And they're going to walk Canseco intentionally, so despite Jose's woes in the World Series, they accord him the respect normally given a right-handed hitter with a left-handed batter on deck.
Well, they saw Parker's third at bat last night off Adley Hammaker, and then he waved at some sliders. Hammaker came in last night, threw the ball real well, showed us a good slider, and that's what Roger Craig's going to do.
Parker comes to the plate with runners at first and third and 2 down. Dave 2 for 7 in the series thus far. Big blow in the game tonight, the 3-run homer by Terry Steinbach, 4th inning. Clark taps first, and that's that for the A's in the 7th. To the 8th we go, still 5-1.
Did you know that if you're not using AT&T and your 800 number goes out, it could be down for hours? If it does, to your customers, you're out of business. And all you can do about it is sit around and wait.
Hi, how may I help you?
But if you use AT&T 800 service, you get the AT&T 800 assurance policy. If your 800 number is ever down for any reason, only AT&T guarantees to get you back in business within an hour. The choice is yours. Keep your customers coming through on the most reliable network in the world. Or take the chance that someday things might get so quiet. Reliability, another AT&T advantage.
Trofeo, trofeo. It's a new generation and we want a new horse.
Sequential port, fuel injection, anti-lock brakes.
Heydays come and we want a new horse.
Visual information center, handles great.
This Oldsmobile is not our father's.
New generation for the sons and daughters.
Trofeo.
This is the new generation of Oldsmobile.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far, and we know how to make the most of who you are. Where the race is run, you're the champion. Gillette, the best.
The Gillette Atra Plus system and Gillette Foamy Shave Cream, together the best a man can get.
I'm an animal.
Tom Cruise and Paul Newman.
I love this.
The Color of Money, next Sunday.
Just a note here, Wayne Gretzky tonight in Edmonton scored a goal 53 seconds left in regulation to pass Gordie Howe. And there it is, Wayne Gretzky, most career points in the history of the National Hockey League.
Yeah, but Gordie's going to catch him in January.
He may. He was kidding around the other day about making a comeback. Meanwhile, Ken Oberkfell pinch hits here in the 8th inning and takes a strike from Mike Moore. Oberkfell batting for Uribe, then Butler, and Robbie Thompson. And it's 0-2. Oberkfell wraps one to left field and in front of Henderson for a base hit. So Obi, who had 18 pinch hits during the regular season, came up last night as a pinch hitter and walked, and now starts the 8th inning with a single. That's the Giants' first hit since a leadoff single by Kevin Mitchell in the 4th, and it brings up Butler. Now there's a look at the Oakland bullpen. As we take a look at Kevin Mitchell again on the Henderson triple, Billy Beane, who played part-time with the A's this season, is not eligible for the series, but the bullpen catcher. That's him, number 11. There's Mitchell reaching around underneath the bench with the ball in play on the Henderson triple.
And it clearly states on page 10 of the Oakland Press Guide, ball remaining on or under bench, 2 bases. So it was not the right call by left field umpire Eric Gregg.
And amazing that the Giants didn't dispute it.
Really is.
Yeah. Meanwhile, LaRussa goes to the mound. There it is, ground rule. Ball remaining on or under the bullpen bench, a double. Meanwhile, LaRussa goes to the mound, and he's going to go to the bullpen. Rick Honeycutt, the left-hander, will be coming in, and the ovation for Mike Moore.
It has arrived.
Good morning, Mr. Graves. This is the all-new 4-door Cutlass Supreme. Your mission is to show the world that it's causing an automotive revolution. Its sleek look and responsive performance make it a superpower among world-class cars.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. Hey, head up! This is the new generation of Olds.
4 years ago, I wound up in the hospital after I hurt my Achilles tendon in a basketball game. I hobbled around on it for a couple of days. The doctor told me I had to go to the hospital, and while I was there, the hospital gave me Tylenol. Worked great for me and got rid of all the pain that I had.
Greg Denton trusts Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
I trust Tylenol because it's done the right things for me, and the hospital recommended it, so that makes me feel even better.
Now try new gelatin-coated gel caps, only from Tylenol.
We've been called the turnaround company of the century. We've come from a little fledgling New England company to national recognition with money in the bank on the verge of explosion.
Miles gives very good business advice. As a volunteer for the Boston Ballet over the last 5 years, and as an agent for New York Life over the last 32 years.
Well, it means that we can envision our dreams by having Peter around.
New York Life, the company you keep.
Daddy, smell like flowers.
Oh, my sinuses.
When sinus trouble strikes, reach for Nasatine. Watch as...
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Hi, Mark McGuire of the Oakland Athletics. My favorite shows on ABC are 30-something and Growing Pains.
Growing Pains 30-something, every week on ABC.
Full moon over Oakland, and the A's have been howling. 5-0 last night, 5-1 tonight. Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. Patrolling the skies and moving over to San Francisco and Candlestick Park after tomorrow's off day on Tuesday for Game 3. Rick Honeycutt comes in to face Brett Butler with nobody out in the 8th inning. Ken Oberkfell at first base with McGuire playing behind him, and the pitch up and in. And Honeycutt really had problems in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's almost an understatement. An inning and 2/3. As you look at his numbers during the season, 12 saves when Eckersley was out. Really did a good job, but inning and 2/3, 6 hits as you look at Dennis down in the bullpen. 5 walks. That's 11 base runners.
Strike to Butler in the Giants bullpen. Steve Bedrosian is up.
And you also have to consider the fact that Butler and Clark, you don't negate their hitting by bringing in a left-hander, because Brett Butler, lifetime, hits better against left-handers than right-handers, and Clark about even.
Fouled away, and you know that's the point in the playoffs. So much made about Zimmer's managerial moves or a lack thereof, and never pointed out to a lot of people that Clark is about the same, and as far as Butler is concerned, there it is graphically.
And Clark will tell you his mechanics are better against lefties than they are righties. That's right. Maybe power numbers are down a little bit, but he will get on base.
Fouled off to the left, and the count remains 1-2.
Well, you know, the natural inclination, if you're Tony La Russa, you look at Rick Honeycutt and take away the playoffs when he struggled. His best pitch is a slider. You know, a good slider against a lefty. And a lot of times you don't know how good the lefties are that you're facing, and that's the case you just brought up. His sinker is a good pitch to right-handers because it runs away. You know, you also use a slider, but he likes to use the slider against left-handers.
And Butler loses his bat, and down he goes.
And that was a nasty slider. Down and away, a ball that appears to be a fastball, at least a good one. You commit yourself, and the ball just kind of sails down and away from you. Right there, he thinks right here it's a fastball, and zip. See you later. Good angle, you could see, not only fooled by the movement of the ball, but also the speed.
Robbie Thompson, the batter. Grounds one to Weiss, to Phillips for 1, to McGuire for 2. Still 5-1.
Ooh, scary.
Tired of wearing the same old face Halloween after Halloween? Why not try a Fright Night nose mask from Bud and Bud Light? There's Batface, Scary Witch, Mr. Pumpkin, and Big Black Cat. Best of all, these amazing masks are available where Bud and Bud Light are sold. So, next time...
The following fine items were purchased with Visa cards last year, but not paid for. They were won in the Visa Our Treat sweepstakes. Now all you have to do to enter is use your Visa card, and almost anything you buy just may be our treat. And the more you use your card, the more chances you have to win. So why pay with anything else?
How to get your package through a Mediterranean storm. Most Federal Express overseas employees are from overseas, so they not only know the local customs regulations, they know the local customs. And that helps your package sail right through. Because when delivering in Rome, it helps to be a Roman. Federal Express, the best way to ship it over here is now the best way to ship it over there.
Georgia 117 in pursuit of additional backup. Do you copy? 117. Let's get a roadblock.
Chopper 1, do you receive?
Chopper 1, coming east. I'll light it up.
More police cars come on Goodyear Eagle radios than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way. Goodyear Eagles. There really is a difference.
Defending Big Ten champ Michigan tackles perennial power Iowa. Or UCLA hits the Oregon Trail to take on Oregon State. Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Just to update Wayne Gretzky, he not only breaks Howe's mark with a game-tying goal in regulation, he wins it with a goal in overtime at the Northlands Coliseum, appropriately enough, as the LA Kings beat Edmonton tonight 5-4. And here in Oakland, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Steve Bedrosian comes out of the Giant bullpen, as we had suspected, just to get in some work. Henderson swinging and missing. Normally Bedrock, of course, with Oberkell remaining in the game at third and Matt Williams shifting over to shortstop. Bedrosian would come in a save situation, but he hasn't pitched since Monday. Tomorrow's an off day, so he needs some work tonight. And he shows no effects from the layoff as he begins by striking out Henderson on 3 pitches. 1 down.
And it's also impetus for Oakland because this guy's got such great stuff that they know they cannot be trailing because he's usually going to do the job. He did a marvelous job. 6 saves with Philadelphia, another 17 with the Giants.
Mark McGuire takes a strike on the inside corner, and the count is 0-1.
I'll tell you, of all the good trades that Al Rosen has made, Steve Bedrosian may be the best of them. The Giants wanted Bedrosian before the season started, but the Phillies were requiring 2 big name players, and they eventually made the trade in early June. Dennis Cook, Terry Mulholland, and Charlie Hayes going to the Phillies for Bedrock.
Well, very often a trade makes the difference for a pennant winner, as Bedrosian strikes McGuire out, so 6 pitches, 6 strikes, and 2 strikeouts. And it's not only the case, of course, with the Giants getting Bedrosian and winning the pennant, but the A's as well, as you go back to their reacquisition of Ricky Henderson.
If you look at a slider, correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but you saw Bedrosian in the National League years ago. Didn't he throw close to 100 miles per hour, like 98? Threw awfully hard when he was with Atlanta, yeah. And then they made him a starter as last year. And the Phillies wanted to get him back as a short man, and they did that, and very effective.
Pitch is grounded to second. Robbie Thompson throws Steinbach out, so it's a 1-2-3 inning. Clark, Mitchell, and Williams in the Giant ninth. 5-1 A's.
She's the girl of my dreams. She taught me what real love means. You can't beat it. The feeling you get when your love is the real thing. Hi, Daddy. Can't beat the feeling.
Coca-Cola Classic. You can't beat the feeling.
We really saved.
I like it.
I like my bottom line. I hate wasting time. I like my MCI. I like you loud and clear. I like you close and near. I get more. I like my MCI. I like my MCI.
There's an enemy in your car's engine, friction. That's why you need the special quality of Pennzoil motor oil. Pennzoil exceeds the API's highest standards for maximum protection. Conquer the enemy friction with the world-class protection of Pennzoil.
The lights on these cars are running on battery power alone. And in the end, only one, the car with the new Die-Hard battery, our most powerful ever, is able to start. Great low prices every day, Die-Hard power. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
I tell my dad I'm buying a new car, and he'd say, "Fluffer and Fluckertash, get a sensible car. Get a comfortable car. Doc, get a gorgeous car. Get a reasonably priced car." So I did. A Cutlass Sierra. Great when you buy it, drive it, trade it. What more could a family want?
That's all, folks.
Now get up to a $1,600 cash bonus on a 1990 Cutlass Sierra. See your Olds dealer today.
If you have a heart attack, you may be a lot better off if you're in Europe than in America. An alarming new study. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News tonight, Monday.
No, Jose Canseco has not taken a seat in the stands. But his twin brother Ozzie is here. Ozzie Canseco looking on. And as we pull back, there is Esther, who is Jose's wife. And a major shopper, according to Herb Cain's column the other day.
Right, that's right. Six leather skirts for $3,000 at a leather shop. You got a bargain. Some bargain. Evidently, Esther thinks the Oakland A's are going to win the series. She's already spending the money.
Yep. And have an outfit for each game and maybe two left over. Here's Clark. Taking a pitch away in the count 1-0. Ninth inning, 5-1 Athletics. Clark, Mitchell, and Williams. And a great diving stop on a hop by Phillips to throw him out. So Tony Phillips keeps Will Clark hitless tonight. Will 0 for 4.
We told you last night, Phillips, a former shortstop, gets a great jump, soft hands to smother the ball. See from behind home plate, Clark not fooled at all, right on the nose.
And Tony La Russa is going to the mound as you take another look at it, because he leaves Honeycutt in to face Clark, but now he's going to bring Eckersley in to get him some work with Mitchell and Williams coming up. And as we said before, I mean, this is the perfect script for La Russa. He gets 7 innings out of Moore. He gets his left-handed ace some work out of the bullpen. Now he gets his right-handed ace some work out of the bullpen. He's got a day off tomorrow. He's on the verge of having a 2-0 lead in the World Series. And Bob Welch going to the mound in Game 3. Let's get the inside pitch on Eck as we check in with Steve Sachs.
When Dennis Eckersley comes in the game, he feels it's just 3 outs from being over. He's got good velocity and movement on his fastball. One that he sinks, and one that I have most problems with is the one he rides up high in the strike zone. And this sets up his slider to the right-handed hitters. Now, to the left-handed hitters, he has what he calls a frisbee pitch. It's sort of a sidearm type of a slurve that doesn't break much, but hangs out there on the outside corner for a strike. Also, Dennis has a big leg kick, and that makes him susceptible to the steal.
That, of course, will not be a factor with nobody on and a 5-1 lead. But I'll tell you what, we talked about La Russa, and there's Tony. He did a great job last year, 104 wins, 99 this year, but did a great job the way he brought in Eckersley. 45 saves last year and only 72 innings. So he used him very economically.
Eckersley has started for many seasons. In fact, he started the All-Star game one year in Montreal in 1982.
And he will tell you, Al, that he said, you know what, you think it's difficult to be a starter? It is. He said it's a lot easier to get 1, 2, 3, or 4 hitters out than to go through the lineup 2 or 3 times, which is what a good starter has to do.
Hard to believe. Here's Eckersley at the very top of his game. Just a masterful relief pitcher, but here's a guy who made his major league debut in 1975
with Cleveland. On from Cleveland to Boston, then to Chicago, and he became a short reliever for the A's. And I was thinking the same thing. Top of his game.
Yeah, I mean, how many pitchers can you say are at the very top of their game in their 15th year in the big leagues? I mean, as great as Nolan Ryan is, he's been around a long time. You would think, there was a certain point early on in his career when he was really what you would call the top of his game. More so than now. 1-1. When were you at the top of your game, Jim? If you had to pick a year.
Take a look at Tony La Rosa's kids. 1975, which put me when I was 30. She was cueing her mom. Elaine LaRussa. But the amazing thing about Eckersley is not only is he mature, because when he came up, he had the Eck language, but his control, only 3 walks in 57 innings. He throws the ball where he wants to. Most of the time, remember, did have a stiff arm yesterday, which is why he did not pitch. You will not see many 3-1 counts from Dennis Eckersley. That's not the way he likes to pitch.
1 out, bases empty in the 9th. Coming all the way back is Steinbach and Lansford. But into the second row. Well, Don Robinson, stiff knee and all, will go to the mound on Tuesday. And again, when you go to the National League park, the pitchers hit. And there is as good a hitting pitcher as there is in baseball today. Bob Welch in the Oakland dugout, second from the right, will be on the mound. And you saw Storm Davis in the picture as well, who would pitch in a 4th game. Lansford has room. In the middle of the logo makes the catch. And the A's are 1 out away from going up 2 games to love. Executive producer is Jeffrey Mason. Tonight's game produced by Kurt Gowdy Jr., directed by Craig Janoff. Pre-game and replay producer Rob Beinert. Technical director Mike Blazo. Associate producer Mike Rosen. Associate directors Earl Fryman, Dave Kiviat, and Tony Slotkin. 2 out. Bases empty. And Williams at the plate. 1-0 the count.
Going back to the inside pitch, as you look at the brain trust of the Giants, that Frisbee pitch is the pitch that Gibson hit for the game-winning home run. Game 1 last year that got the Dodgers off to a good start. Eckersley with a 4-3 lead. Gibson with a 2-out, 2-run home run to win it. And we talked at the top of the telecast about the sense of purpose and resolve that the A's have after last year's World Series. And I don't think any player has more resolve than Dennis Eckersley to try to wipe the slate clean after the Gibson homer.
To Phillips, who juggles but recovers, and the A's lead 2-0.
Agree on a restaurant, right? Hey, I ordered already. I found us a great wine.
Oh, a decision maker.
Oh, this is wonderful wine. I had this at David's.
I served this at my place. It was a big hit.
You guys, I was hoping you hadn't tried it yet.
Oh, come on. Look, we finally found something we all agree on, I mean, when was the last time that happened?
Ernest and Julio Gallo invite you to try White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
Here's another Chevy that really hauls on the track. Chevy Truck, the official truck of NASCAR. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. When the Sharper Image wanted an official vehicle that fit the lifestyles of their customers, they chose Chevy Truck over Ford. Maybe it was because of our Sharper Image. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
2 days coming up over easy. New days coming on good and slow. Me, I'm warming to a hot McMuffin morning. Look out, that face in the golden glow of a great day. Hey, wait, yeah. A hot McMuffin hunger for just one taste.
The one and only taste of an Egg McMuffin.
It's gonna be a hot McMuffin morning at McDonald's. How you doing? Are you ready for the football? A Monday night party. Hey, hey, we have Frank and Al and Dan ready to get the good time started. They got the teams on the field and they turned up the lights. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night. We got the week, it's the time that is right. All my rowdy friends are here on Monday night.
There it is, much like last night when the A's won 5-0. Tonight it's 5-1. Mike Moore is the winner. Rick Reuschel is the loser. Tony La Russa's team is 2 games away from a world title, and Tony is with Gary Thorne.
Thank you, Al. And yes, indeed, he's smiling down here. Tony, I got to ask you first, before the homer was hit by Steinbach, the guys had just got through saying, they talked with you before the game and you predicted it, we want the lotto number now.
Well, you know, before the game, you're always saying positive things about your club. I had no real good idea, except that I thought Terry's been swinging so well in batting practice, and yesterday in the game, I thought he hit the ball hard, but I always say those things. That very rarely works.
Tony, you've kept this team focused all season, which isn't easy to do after you've won a year. How have you done that?
I just trust the guys on the team. I mean, our players are very professional. They know exactly what they want. They don't always do it or get it, but I think focus is going to be a big thing going to Game 3 because we've played ourselves in a good position, but now is not the time to back off.
You just said, the first thing he said to me when he came over is, I'm concerned about keeping that way. This is after the second win.
Well, you know, you have to get 4. I mean, we're tickled to get 2-zip, but if you don't get 4, you know, you'll never enjoy it. So our goal now is to be ready Tuesday. I know the Giants will be very ready on Tuesday, and we're going to have to be as ready.
Tony, congratulations.
Thank you.
Al, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Gary. So tomorrow is a day off. The teams will each work out at Candlestick Park. A's will work out in the late afternoon to get used to the light at that hour. And then Game 3 will be coming up on Tuesday from Candlestick with Bob Welch going to the mound against Don Robinson. For now, Al Michaels, where Jim Palmer and Tim McCarver saying good night from the Coliseum in Oakland. With a reminder, tomorrow night on ABC's Monday Night Football, the NFL's only undefeated team, the Los Angeles Rams, travel to Buffalo to meet the Bills at 9 Eastern time. Tuesday night to the other side of the bay as the Giants host Oakland in Game 3 of the World Series. Coverage begins live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Now stay tuned for your late local news, except on the West Coast, where coming up next you'll see the critically acclaimed news show Life Goes On over most of these ABC stations. Aerial facilities provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. So it was Stewart last night and Moore tonight, and it's on to San Francisco when we'll talk to you Tuesday for Game 3.
Game 2 of the 1989 World Series, the San Francisco Giants versus the Oakland Athletics, has been brought to you by today's truck, Chevrolet. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. By Anheuser-Busch, we brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By Federal Express, the best way to ship it over there. And by the good time, great taste of McDonald's. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.